Round one. Fight!
Welcome everyone to Tearranker Fights. This is episode 34. This is his best time travel movies tonight. As you can see, I got my Save the Clock Tower 5K run on. I'm ready to talk some time travel movies, and I'm excited because there's a couple of these movies that I got to watch for the very first time, which I'll talk about a little later. But I'll go ahead and I'll introduce our panel for tonight. First off, I'll bring in my co-host, Austin, the Time Cop, tonight. How's it going?
Well, I also have a Save the Clock Tower shirt on, so, you know,
right
we're rocking the same theme. And so it gives you an indication of what might end up being at least number one tonight, but that might be a spoiler.
Yeah, right.
but we got a lot of movies to talk about. It should be a lot of fun.
Just a little indication, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a returning guest in the Meme Queen, Jen Kemp. How's it going?
Hi guys, thanks for having me. I think it's basically a competition for two. I think number one's already locked in. So, but
right.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what number two comes.
For the rest of the top 10. Yeah, we kind of know what one is, and we'll go from there. So.
Yep. Yeah, and then we have a few first timers joining us tonight. We have both halves of Late to the Party, Robert and Vanessa.
Hey.
Hey, Jen.
Great to have you guys.
Actually, Jordan, they're just going to be reacting to Tearranker Fights tonight, so we'll get their opinion on it later.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
Got some good reactions tonight.
Yeah.
A
lot of crazy kills, I'm sure, coming down the pipe.
And no copyright strikes, we promise. We'll let you play the entire video.
They'll just claim it. They want the money now. They learned the game.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Yeah, but then last but certainly not least, we have another first timer, Andres the Ghost Gallegos. How's it going?
Ghost.
Hey, Ghost.
Yeah, hopefully I pronounced your last name right. I think it's Gallegos, right? Did I get it right?
It should be. Yeah. He goes a little different with it.
Yeah.
Tell him, Ghost.
There I am.
There you go.
You guys for a little bit.
We were talking for you.
Yeah.
Just speaking for me. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. You were close enough. So I'll give you credit for that. It's Gallego. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Brad and Steph have done a lot worse. So yeah, you're okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the way it's commonly mispronounced every time is someone always adds an S at the very end of the O. And I'm like, all right. I mean, it just rolls off the tongue, so it's all good. It's like when you say Terminator, you want to say Terminator 2, right?
Yeah, right. You want to add the number 2. Yeah.
Judgment.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, I wanted to do one of these so badly over the past couple of months. So I'm finally like, what better of an episode to come by than the time travel episode with the Queen and the party? Come on, guys.
Yes, right.
I'm so excited.
Well, I mean, we could fix that. We can go back in time to one of the earlier episodes and insert you into it, and then we'll create a whole nother alternate timeline of Tearranker Fights. So we'll do that.
Paradoxes.
Yes, right.
Yeah, but we'll go ahead and jump into it. So we got a little bit of rules to kind of keep some order to the chaos. They're kind of loose rules, but it kind of helps keep some order to everything, so we're not just all shouting over each other the entire time. But they are as follows. So let's have a good clean fight. Please do not talk or shout over each other. Please do be respectful of others' opinions. Each person will take turns to select a movie for ranking. The person who selected the movie will have 1 minute to explain which tier they think it should go in and why. All other participants will then each have 1 minute to say whether they agree or disagree and may suggest a new ranking. And also, be sure to not look your past self in the eye, or else it'll be a paradox of time and space, and you will now cease to exist. So be very careful not to do any of that. But then, and then also, me being the host, I kind of help decide the final ranking. But we'll have a little debate when it comes down to that, because it'll be based on everybody's votes. So like we'll kind of hash it out just a little bit at that point. So yeah, but that'll pretty much do it though.
It's very scientific here. I keep track of everybody's grades and votes and all the movies, and then we average them all out. It's, on paper, old school. I write these things down.
Old school.
Ridiculous. But yeah, we'll keep track and do that. Well,
yeah, we're going to bring up the tier chart here.
They have a board.
I used to do that, and it was too much to remember.
Oh yeah, yeah. So for anyone who's not familiar with it, you have S for superior, and then it just goes like the grades in school: A, B, C, D, E. Actually added because we have a lot of movies this round, so if we want to have an E, that's fine. We don't always, but and then S. We always only allow 10 movies in the S tier. So by the end of the episode, we want to have a top 10 plus 3 honorable mentions, because tomorrow we're gonna put up a little poll of all those top 10s and honorable mentioned in the Facebook group that we run, the Schmodown Friends and Family over on Facebook. So you can find that over there, and you can let us know if we got it right, if we got it wrong. You can yell at us in the comments. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, we got that. And then also too, there might be some of these movies you might consider actually not a time travel movie. There might be a little debate to be had. We could throw it in there. And then we have a rule that for every movie, 3 of us have to have seen it in order for it to qualify. So if not, at least 3 on the panel have seen it, then we got to throw it in the haven't seen. So that's how that works. But as the host, I usually elect to go last, and then we start at the bottom of the ladder as it appears on the screen. So Andres, you'll be up first, and basically you just pick a movie from the list, you give it a ranking, and you have up to a minute to tell us why you want to rank it, wherever you choose to rank it. And you can go for S tier, and go for F tier, you can go anywhere in between. It really doesn't matter. So.
But Jordan, while Andres is deciding what movie he wants to talk about first, we might want to put the list back in the private chat again, just so anybody can reference back to it, either that or the Facebook group. So we'll put that in there. So
it always takes a minute to do it, but while I do that, you can go ahead and
so Andres, basically you can pick out any movie from the list whatsoever and give it a ranking. You can shoot high for S tier, you can go for something in the middle, you can go for an A or B, whatever you like. Pick any movie you want and let us know where you want to put it and why.
All right. So first off, right over that's in front of me right now, I would say actually go up.
It's in here. Yeah. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose Edge of Tomorrow first.
All right. Let's see. Where's it at again? Oh, here it is.
Right there.
There it is.
All
right
you
there.
need is
Yeah.
Live, die, repeat.
Live, die, repeat. Yeah, right.
whatever title it had. I would firmly put it in the A rank for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think it's
all right.
So we just have to explain why we would put it there, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, this movie plays with time travel in the same way that we play with the logistics of video games and in terms of respawning, and really giving us a movie that sort of feels like the action adventure version of Groundhog's Day. So for me, this is an infinitely watchable movie. It's one of my personal favorite Tom Cruise movies. It's also one of my favorite Bill Paxton appearances and everything. I mean, everything he says in the movie is so infinitely quotable. I mean, was the great redeemer. You know, he has like some of the best moments in the entire movie. And also, we'd be remiss to not talk about how badass Emily Blunt is in this movie. So, for all that stuff and for all those reasons, I feel this is most definitely an A-tier time travel movie. And it's also truly unique in the way it deals with the time travel aspect. So there you go.
Yeah. So we throw it over to the party. We'll let ladies go first. So we'll go with Vanessa. What do you think?
I would agree that it would be A tier, because when I think of Edge of Tomorrow, it doesn't like automatically go like, oh, this is strictly like a time travel movie. Like it does have the time travel elements in it, but it's more of an action movie, which I love, and I do love Emily Blunt in this movie. I think all the characters work well with each other, and it's just a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Robert?
Now he picked now throwing his movie in A. What could happen to his movie if somebody else comes along?
It could move up or down. If the next three people vote S tier, it could move up into the S tier. If the next three people vote B tier, it could get thrown down. Yeah, you can go lower if you want to. You don't have to agree. You can disagree on where would you put it.
If let's say a movie I throw in later ends up underneath his, is there a possibility that mine could ever rise above his? Like if we're trying to bump movies.
Probably not. It'll only get moved up into a higher tier if we were moving it up for honorable mentions or moving something from the A's up into the S's.
So it's really kind of the movie at the top if you want it to make it all the way to the end. And then
that's it.
I mean,
like
Robert is being very strategic right off the bat. That worries me.
Yeah, right. I like it.
He's playing the long game. He's playing this third dimensionally, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 4D chess. Why
He
not?
can see the future, and it worries me.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow was good.
It's great.
We know why. We know why it's good. We know why it's one that you would put up there. I feel like in the Mount Rushmore of time travel movies, I feel like it's going to be scraping for a spot, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, would you agree with the A? Would you put it lower? Would you put it higher? I mean,
with all the other movies, I would. I would put it lower. I would.
Where would
you
letter
that?
Where?
I mean, what letter grade? I have to keep track of letter grades here. We need a letter grade from everybody.
Sure, I'm all trying to move it over here. Go
You can't do that.
You can't move it.
I mean, the more stuff we put it on the list.
Second to last is where I would put it. There's some heavy hitters in this.
So an
list.
E.
Put it in the E
You
tier.
put it in like
E.
All right.
That means it's like a pretty bad movie.
There, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk when we get to some of the other time travel movies. You're forgetting there's 3 Back to the Futures alone.
Right.
Okay.
3 of them. Yeah. All right. Well, Jen, what do you think then?
All right, I'm offended by that ranking, so I'm going to say S tier just to balance it out a little bit. I love this movie. This is a great film. I would argue like A is probably a solid placement for where it should be, but I'm worried about that E now. So I would say S. It's a great movie. It's potentially the best video game movie there is out there. And it's fantastic performances from a great ensemble cast and super fun. I want a second one. So S tier just to counteract what Robert just did. Come on.
We'll talk about that when we get to Groundhog Day. We'll talk about that when we get to Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Well, Austin, what do you think?
You know what? I'm going to do the same thing Jen just did because I'm afraid of what you're ranking this thing, and I'm going to put it up here pretty high because and not just for that. I mean, I think Edge of Tomorrow is probably one of easily the top 3 time loop movies, whatever you want to call them, that's ever been made. I think it's been the best one probably since either Groundhog Day or Run Lola Run, 2 other movies that are on this list. But like, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. It's ridiculously entertaining. I like the fact that they have certain spots where they just kind of jump ahead and they're just like, I don't need to explain that. Like, what happened between A and D, like these periods of time in the movie, we're just going to jump through it, get to the points where he's just kind of trying little things here and there. I think it's just really smartly done. And it gets actually very suspenseful when you finally get to a point where he's like, I haven't been here yet, so I don't know what's going to happen. And then you're just like, I just got to try to like not die. So, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's really, really good. I would rank it S tier. I love this movie.
Yeah, and absolutely an S tier for me. Like, I think this movie is great. Like just seeing the way that he makes that that slow progression over the course of the movie, and just seeing all the little things that he has to repeat, but then the subtle little changes that they make because he's like figuring things out. And then also Emily Blunt, she absolutely is a badass in this
Full
movie.
Metal
She's
bitch.
awesome. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it an S tier. So
Andres, you want to go a little higher? This thing,
Thanks, Robert.
You know what it's called? I would automatically go S, but knowing how much competition we have here, I figured I'd split the difference here and there. So I think I'm kind of in between all you guys right now.
There's 3 Bill and Ted
But
movies.
absolutely, this movie in my heart would be an S tier movie. But I know we have so many other great ones coming up.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Plenty.
normally 3 S's is almost enough to get it up into the S tier automatically, but we've got 2 A's and then a very low vote from Robert. So, but even despite that, I think the 3 A's kind of keep it up at least in the A tier for now. So when you balance out the averages.
There's some weird gerrymandering going on right now. I'm a little worried about it.
Yeah.
Robert's
Robert's going to throw a whole wrench in this whole process. Yeah.
Oh, you'll see. I'm pushing you to the edge of tomorrow.
Right.
All right. Well, I think we'll go to Vanessa next. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, we got a couple suggestions from
you can't choose anything
from Tim Franco here. Sadly, those movies didn't make the cut, Tim. Sorry.
I'm a little disappointed Time Franco isn't here instead of Tim Franco.
Wait a minute. Hang on, that's not the one that I want. That one. There you go. Yeah, he wanted Endless and Synchronic on there, but there's a sad.
Well, the Endless. I debated about the Endless because I have seen the Endless, and the movie itself as a whole is not really a time loop movie. It's like these individual people scattered throughout the movie are stuck in their own little time loops, and this one guy is navigating this cult that kind of engages around it. So it's like, but we don't follow those individual people that are in those individual time loops. So I don't know. I debated about that one, but I ultimately decided to exclude it. But it is a underrated little movie.
Yeah. But Vanessa, you're up. So which one you want to go with?
I'm looking.
Yeah. I put them all in the private chat, so.
I know, I'm looking at the ones in the private chat too.
Yeah.
It's a smorgasbord of choices.
So many.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Although I mean,
it's the slow scroll
you could choose from.
Oh yeah.
There are so many.
Ticking clock.
I know.
She's gonna have to.
If not, look, Vanessa. If not, I do have an idea. If you want to do this to get out of the way, I do have an idea. If the panel's okay with this, all right. If we don't want to put off the inevitable, we can go around the horn and each rank each of the Back to the Future movies individually and where we would put them just to get it out of the way. If we want to just get them out of the way so we can talk about other films, do we want to do that? Or just get them out of the way?
I mean, we'll get to them.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to save time.
I'll let Robert go.
Let
Robert go first.
Gush about the time travel.
Let Robert
Anyone
go first.
It doesn't matter. We're gonna.
Well, we'll do it when we get to my turn. Maybe we'll do it. We'll just get it out of the way
Robert,
and just get it
go,
done.
and then I'll think of one. Unless you pick the one I want to do.
Is it worth it for me to pick one
Yes.
that nobody else has seen? Because I know no one else has seen.
You can still talk about it and love it. Here's the thing. Fair enough. If nobody's seen it, we'll give you another pick because we try. You can still give it love, and then if nobody's seen it, we'll let you go again.
Oh, there you go.
Actually,
go on.
I was gonna say I watched Retroactive in preparation for the show, and that movie, it was the first time watch. That movie is batshit crazy. So I'd be happy to talk about that.
Freaking Jim Belushi. Jim Belushi's legit. Just seeing him as Frank. I believe his character's name was. Just going off memory. But they play over the same scenario over and over. And people die. People die in this desert. It feels like the beginning of Dusk Till Dawn. The gas station out in the middle of nowhere, and people are just dying so many different ways. And at one point, the girl goes back in time. Then she takes the scientist who did the time travel with her back in time. Then Frank goes back in time on his own, and they're just having this vicious cycle battle. And then the girl, spoilers, to kind of set things straight, she just kind of says, "I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm not going to be a part of it." Watch the movie to find out the end, to figure out what happens. Retroactive. I would put it at the bottom tier. F tier.
F tier. All right.
Okay, wait, hold on. I gotta say that. Robert, do you like this movie?
No, I love this movie.
Okay, so wait a minute. Then why is it in the F
He's
tier?
being realistic.
I love other movies way more. Back to the
Okay,
Future.
sure.
Come on.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
how it usually works on the show is look, I'm going to give you an example. We just did like a
I
bunch
know
of
my
sports movies. We did some sports stuff, okay? Like we did a baseball tier. I put the movie
Yeah.
Ed in the F tier because that movie's garbage, okay? Like, but you know, I didn't put it down there just to save room in the S tier. Like
No,
there can be multiple
would you
movies in each
realistically-
tier. You're okay.
yeah, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be one in each tier.
Oh, I thought we're doing like a process of elimination. Gonna get rid
No,
of
No,
no,
you got a couple of them,
no.
dude.
I know it's
No.
worth
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I know what it's
say
worth.
C
Okay.
tier.
All right.
See.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So F is bad as in garbage, like terrible.
If you
F
wanna
is
say-
like the worst movie ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, in
Yeah,
that
F
case,
is
give
F
it
is the
bad.
trash pile.
Give it a C. Yeah.
Yeah, we have multiple movies
So for the record,
He
Robert
really dug this movie, but he's only going to go up a little bit. A
I
and
little
know
Robert,
bit.
my worth.
you ranked
Yeah.
this higher than Edge of Tomorrow for the record, people. Like, so retroactive
Yeah.
is better than Edge of Tomorrow to Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
That's a plus.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's worth it.
Okay. All right.
Well, Jen, have you ever seen this movie?
Robert is correct. I have not seen this movie. I probably don't intend to. It's a Jim Belushi 90s film. Yeah, that's not high on my watch list, but congratulations.
I can give it one watch.
The substitute,
what
man.
I did.
You
I
gotta
gave
check
it
out
one
the
watch.
substitute. So good.
There you go.
She was busting heads in high school before Michelle Pfeiffer. We were just watching Dangerous Minds earlier.
Nice,
I love
nice.
it.
Dangerous
Classic.
Minds.
Well, Austin, have you seen it?
Look, I've seen Free Jack, the Mick Jagger movie that's on this list, but I haven't seen Retroactive. I apologize. I didn't even know this movie existed before we put it on the list, so sorry.
Well, then I
Jim
did my
Belushi
job.
I'm sorry, a Jim Belushi time travel movie? Who knew?
He's the
I
bad
didn't
guy,
know
too.
about it.
Spread the word to the people.
It slipped under the radar. Sorry.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I actually sat through this movie because I heard Robert talking about it, and I was like, you know what? I'll just give it a chance. And like this movie, like it's bad, but it's not like F bad though. Like it's you kind of appreciate the kind of batshit craziness of it, like just like so many people going back in time over and over again. And there's a scene where there's like explosions coming from every direction. You're like, what the heck's happening? What's going on? And they're like inside like some kind of cave, and then there's
They're at the facility.
yeah, they're at the facility. So there's a lot of just like crazy stuff going on. So like I wouldn't give it an F. I'd give it a solid E probably, since we have E on the list.
Well,
I'm
I didn't
gonna do
understand
that.
the
But you guys,
rankings.
Jordan, you're throwing me off because I don't put E on my thing. We go letter grades like
Yeah.
school, and now you're throwing me off with all these
Also,
E's.
I know.
I gotta split it
Yeah.
I was just about to say the same thing, Jed. Why is E and D about
Yeah.
like switched
It
up?
won't matter.
Oh yeah, true, yeah.
I was
know what
about
they're
to say.
Well, let's fix that then. There you go. How about
Yeah.
that?
Yay,
So,
yay.
yeah.
Hey,
Technology.
alphabetically.
So with that, I'm gonna actually switch over to D. So I'm gonna rank it D. Yeah. So that'll be my final ranking. But Andres, have you seen it?
I have seen it. The thing is, I saw it in college way back when. I just happened to watch my roommates watch this movie, and then I was like, "The hell is this? This is like again, Jim Belushi is kind of just like, wait,
No.
what is going on?" And then also, I didn't realize it was a time travel movie. I was also very high on shrooms when I saw this for the first time. So I was like, this is absolutely a typical '90s movie, but. Having said that, I did enjoy what I saw. I wouldn't necessarily call it high art, but I would say it's a
High
fun
art.
high art.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
so I would place it very comfortably at C actually. So yeah. It's not terrible. It's watchable to a certain extent, but yeah, but there's definitely much better movies out there. Sorry.
Yeah.
The scientist is Frank Whaley. You guys know Frank Whaley? He was in Career Opportunities with what's her name? Jennifer Connelly. Yeah. And
Okay.
You were able to pull Frank Whaley so easily, be like Jennifer Connelly. Like,
Connelly, yeah.
That woman that's
There
just
is
married
a
to the
reason
vision.
why she
Reason for
thinks
that.
she's born.
I've
Yeah.
never watched Labyrinth. So
Yeah.
you're not locked in here.
He's never watched.
She's
But
not
but
locked in
but
here.
you challenge me on the
Dark
spelling
City,
for
maybe,
that,
I guess.
Robert.
I mean, a Rocketeer.
Yeah.
She's
But-
third fiddle to Neville Sinclair and Cliff Secord. Come on.
There you go. But Vanessa, what do you think of Retroactive?
You never seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I saw it once. I would give it a solid C. I thought it was because I liked the way that it was like you had multiple different people going back at once. You're like, one person's going back, you have the other two people going back. They're kind of trying to like beat themselves to the time travel machine, but it's kind of like they're in a loop, so it doesn't really matter. And like I like the ending of it.
Yeah. The ending's dark, actually.
Yeah.
Some of it is.
I will say my enjoyment from it did come from just sort of how inventive and how daring that ending especially was. So without going into too many details about it, or I don't know if how much spoilers we want to give on this. But
I'm never going to see this movie. Go right ahead.
Other people might though. Check it out. It's a fun movie.
Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Go check it out. Yeah.
Jen, I'm sorry we missed this movie from the director of Carnosaur 2 and The Hitcher 2 and Joyride 2. I apologize. I missed this.
I'm just amazed that it didn't get put down and haven't seen. Like enough people saw it. I'm impressed with that.
Yeah.
So clearly made the right choice.
Enough.
We wanted a dark Jurassic Park growing up, and Carnosaur gave it to us, man.
Oh right.
When we all wanted a Dino Crisis movie, right?
Of course.
Of course, yeah. Well, Vanessa, have you thought of one yet? You got one you want to talk about?
Yes and no. I just want to point out that I don't consider Frequency a time travel movie.
Bullshit.
All right. Yeah, we could throw it over there. There's a case to be made. We can see what everyone thinks.
I love Frequency. I love the story.
See, where's it?
With
Where's
Dennis
it at?
Quaid.
I know. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay.
It's great.
Yeah.
I like it. Like the way that they have to kind of like, I guess, beat time to figure out something. But I don't like when I think of Frequency, I don't think of it, or I don't consider it like a time travel movie because he's just talking to his dad over radio.
Well, it's the same situation as The Lake House, and that's here too.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't consider that.
Well, that one's not a time travel movie either. So.
Oh boy!
But that's just me. Like when I think of time travel, I think like that person actually travels through time, but he's just talking to his dad.
The voices are traveling through time.
Yeah, right. I'll just say this:
information is traveling
through time.
The wallet acceleration.
At least if some character travels through time.
Yeah.
Right.
I get it. I completely understand the argument for it, just in terms of a traditional time travel movie. But
I love Frequency though.
I know it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'd have to agree.
Would anyone have a case to say that it's an actual time travel movie? Would anyone say that? Because I kind of would, because the voices are traveling through time.
Yeah, it's
information traveling
through time, so they are affecting each other's viewpoints and actions on their end and everything. So even though they're not there, you still affect the other person. So I would say it is a different type of time travel movie, which is always good. Like they don't all have to be the time loop thing. They don't all have to be let's go on an adventure back in 20 years ago or whatever. So I think it does count as a time travel movie. It's not like the first thing that comes to mind, but it's definitely, I think it counts in the genre of time travel.
I changed my answer to Jen's.
Yeah, right.
I'm keeping mine the same.
No, sorry. Go right ahead.
Well, we have at least 3 arguments for it. So yeah, let's talk about where would place it. What were you going to say, Andres?
No, I was about to say I absolutely agree. I mean, like there's so many movies that we have here, even the classic ones that don't necessarily involve characters going through time, but it does involve the aspect or the theme of time travel in some way, shape, or form, and how that sort of defines everything going forward for the story. So it's like while for this film in particular, it's not necessarily like a huge. I mean, it is a huge plot point, but it is not the main focus of the movie. If that makes any sense, it's for lack of a better word, it's not Marty McFly going through time, but it still does count. So I actually agree with Jen.
And if you were to give it a ranking, where would you put it, Andres? What do you think?
Ooh. See, I really enjoyed it, but to be honest, I haven't seen it in a couple years. So
Okay.
Just out of that, from what I remember from it, I would put it in the B ranking. I mean, it could
Yeah.
go higher. I couldn't. I wouldn't argue with anybody if they wanted to put it even higher. I would just say, for what I remember about this film, it was definitely like a really really good movie. I was really happy to have seen it. I thought it definitely dealt with the time travel in a very unique way, and it definitely told a great story. So yeah, I would give it a B from what I remember.
All right. Well, Robert, would you, if you were to rank it, where would you rank it?
I love Frequency. I love Frequency a lot. I've seen it many times. I watched it not too long ago again on television. So in terms of like time travel-y goodness, I would say D as in dog.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's
I
fair
should
have
given F for Frequency.
But,
F for Frequency.
Right. Well, Jen, would you rank it and why?
Yeah, I think it has been a while for me as well from the last time I saw it. So yeah, I think it's a solid B. If I rewatched it, it might go up, it might go down. But from what I remember, especially since we're looking specifically at time travel movies, I know I just made an argument that it is a time travel movie, but it's not the first thing that comes to mind. So yeah, I'd say B.
Yeah, right. Austin?
Yeah.
Where'd you rank
B
it?
plus sounds about right. It's a really solid. All the performances are good. Jesus is good in the movie. Dennis Quaid is good in the movie.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I always just refer to him
Does
as
have a name,
Jesus. He's Jesus Caviezel. That's what
Yeah,
he's going
right.
to be forever known as. And I mean, it's smart. I don't think it's incredibly rewatchable, if that makes any sense. Like once you kind of seen it, I was kind of okay with it. I'm like, all right, I'm good. It's not something I go back to a lot. So for that, I give it like a B plus.
You know what doesn't stand up though in that movie anymore? When he tells the kid to go invest in Yahoo.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
probably
number two.
We had all
in
those
Amazon.
90s movies. I mean, we had all those 90s movies that they all were basically just like a big advertisement for Yahoo. I mean, like freaking, it's not a time travel movie, but freaking Inspector Gadget. All of a sudden, he gets smashed by a big Yahoo billboard.
Yeah, right.
Even with the sound and all.
Yeah.
If they were going to do it now, they should say Amazon.
Or
Google.
Right.
Or Google. I would say Amazon.
Well, for me, I think I would give it a solid B. I'd probably echo everything Austin says. Like it's not something that I really go back to, but it is something that I have a little memory, because the very first time that I saw it, I watched it with my grandparents, and so there's a memory that we had together, because they picked it out. They're the ones that actually wanted to show me this movie, and so yeah. And usually it's me showing them movies, but they actually showed this one to me. So I'm gonna say B. So
solid.
But if we were to average it out, Austin, where are we at?
I mean, we're at like 4 B's and a D, so B is fine. I think is perfectly.
Yeah.
perfectly
He's
fine
in
for
a D
Frequency.
and it's not a time travel movie. Which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
right. And not.
Well, we had the debate, and we had enough people to bump it up into yes, it is a time travel movie. So I mean, if we had enough people that said it wasn't, then we wouldn't rank it. So
Yeah,
right.
stayed on
I
that.
didn't agree about it. I love the movie still.
Mhm. All right, Jen.
Yeah.
especially when they're all playing
Jen.
baseball at the end.
All
That
right.
country
Get back
song.
on track.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going to mess around here. We're going for S tier right off the bat. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think I need to bring it out early because we're just going to keep referencing it with all these other things because so many things have copied the formula, and that would be Groundhog Day. I absolutely love Groundhog Day. It is one of my favorite scripts of all
where's it
time. It
at?
is very clever. I saw him earlier. Where did
Top
he
left.
go?
Top left.
There he is, top
top
left,
left.
next to Happy Death
There it
Day
is,
too, which is
okay.
very fitting because it's a
Perfect.
complete ripoff. So yeah, but no,
Yeah,
Groundhog
yeah.
Day, like it is definitely my favorite Bill Murray performance. It is just a beautiful script from Harold Ramis and just executed brilliantly. It's hilarious. It's a great romance, and it's a really good, just existential crisis wrapped up in a really nice little bow. So yeah, I love this movie. I know we're going to talk about Back to the Future, but this is, I think, one of the really classic ones that has a really strong case for being way up there. So yeah, Groundhog Day, S tier.
Oh yeah. Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I got to see Groundhog Day last year before kind of everything shut down. One of the art house theaters up here in Asheville shows it every year on Groundhog Day with a big crowd, and it's a lot of fun. And
Nice.
I had never seen it in the theater, and I had a great time. It's there's a reason why every time loop movie refers back to Groundhog Day because it did it right and it did it pretty much right the first time. You know, we hadn't seen a lot of time loop stuff before then, and it just did it right. And the reason why we go, oh well, it's, you know, Palm Springs is like Groundhog Day for this, or, you know, Edge of Tomorrow is like a sci-fi Groundhog Day. Well, there's a reason we say that, and when you say that, it's because if this is the godfather of time loop movies, then it just is. So yeah, I think it absolutely deserves an S tier. It's funny, but it's kind of tragic at the same time, but it's you know, and I like the fact that he never gets with Andy McDowell, really. Like, he tries and tries and tries and tries, and he just never well, I'm just saying he never has sex with her on that first day. That's what I mean.
That's not
So,
all
like,
that
he
matters,
tries
Austin.
a million times. I'm just saying, I find that interesting that he never does it. I find
There
it
you go.
interesting. Like,
It makes it
he tries
pure.
everything he does. Yeah, it
Like,
keeps it
that's
pure. Like, she's
proposed
pure.
to
Good point,
somebody.
Austin.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's,
They're all
that's
based
correct
off
there.
of a.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, S tier. There's a reason we reference it constantly, because it is what it is.
Yeah, and well, for me, this is probably my third favorite Bill Murray movie, because, I mean, obviously Ghostbusters, and I'm a huge What About Bob fan, so I got to give shout out to those two. But Groundhog Day is like the gold standard for the time loop movies, and that's awesome. With Bill Murray at giving one of his best performances, and yeah, like this was infinitely rewatchable, kind of like with the whole, compare it to the whole time loop thing. Like, I could watch this on a loop like easily. So
And
yeah.
I pretty much do every year, because Groundhog Day, they just on all
yeah,
day.
yeah. Right,
sure.
yep. Play it over and over. So I'm gonna say S tier. Yep.
Andres?
So Andres?
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. In fact, the first time I saw this movie, it was on, you know how like HBO way back when in the day, or Stars, or one of them, had like a channel where all they would do was play the same movie over and over and over again for 24 hours. That's exactly how I saw Groundhog's Day for the first time. Was just in a constant loop all day. I thought the movie, like, I was about like 7 or 8 years old, and I thought the movie never ended. I was like, wow, this is a really long movie. But yeah, it absolutely, everything Jen said, this is a fantastic movie all around. Deals with aspects of, you know, midlife crisis in a way that is digestible, and also in a way that really becomes an inventive and unique time travel movie. I mean, like how we were saying, so much so to the point it defined the genre going forward. And also, for some reason, anytime I'm like really down the dumps, I just flash back to that moment where Bill Murray just goes in front of the car and just tries to end it one time, and then he wakes right up again. So yeah, it's an amazing movie. I absolutely love it. I mean, yeah, enough said. S rank.
Yeah. Well, Vanessa, what do you think for Groundhog Day?
I actually have never seen it all the way through, so I don't think I can give it a good
all right.
a good grading because of that. I've seen like bits and
Sounds
pieces
like that
here and
movie
there,
needs a
but-
reaction.
Yeah, right.
Reaction.
It does. You've never seen all the way through, yeah.
I gotta put it on
Vanessa, you put Robert through all the Twilight movies. You owe him at least this one.
Yeah, right.
Labyrinth?
Yeah, we're going
How
through
did that
Labyrinth. He's never
happen?
seen Labyrinth. So.
How'd that
Oh,
happen?
yeah.
There you go.
Well, Robert,
get
what do you
on the
think
list.
for Groundhog Day?
Groundhog Day. I'm gonna forget. Groundhog Day is Pinnacle Murray, and it's Harold Ramis at his finest. It's where I fell in love with intricate time travel storytelling. And granted, it's not, a traditional time travel either. It's just a loop, and it's a different thing you haven't seen in like film form yet. And I just remember being like, I remember my mom hating it, and not even so much hating it. It was more so just like not enjoying it because it was so confusing. And I watched it. I'm just like, holy hell, that was amazing. And so that's where it was like, I put a higher standard in my head of time travel films because of movies like Groundhog Day. And then when you hear what it did to Bill Murray and Harold Ramis's friendship, it's top tier movie. And that's why, like, I am in good conscience. I couldn't put Edge of Tomorrow in the same ranking as Groundhog Day, because Groundhog Day is just pinnacle when it comes to those kinds of movies. It's up there with Back to the Future, of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I will say that for the reason my ex-wife, she hates Groundhog Day. I don't know why, but she hates Bill Murray in general. And It's like a really weird thing. So she
Hey,
really loves the
Joy,
movie.
Jesus.
Yeah, she really loves the movie Zombieland when they shoot Bill Murray in the head with a shotgun. Like that's like one of her favorite scenes for
I mean,
whatever
it's a
reason.
good
So-
scene.
Yeah, I love that scene.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, yeah. But anyways, moving on that note, I believe there's Austin, Europe.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about one of the great kind of hidden gems of the last decade or so, and it's a movie with Ethan Hawke called Predestination. That's awesome.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to
where's that
shoot
at?
for. I don't know.
No, it's
Hang
here,
on
yeah.
a second. I'll help you
All
find
right.
it.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, right on the right there.
All right.
So I'm going to give this one a really strong A because I'm not going to put it on the same level as like a Back to the Future or a Groundhog Day, but I think it's one of the great underrated gems of the last 10 years. It's a movie that has slowly built this cult following that people have looked for when we talk about time travel movies that are more about causal loops, about these people living these lives or starting these loops that they can't escape, that they literally are stuck doing the same things kind of back and forth, and their lives are almost predetermined by what they're going to do, what they have done, and the fact that they just can't escape that. I don't want to spoil anything about this movie because I think it's still kind of criminally underseen, but the basic premise is that Ethan Hawke works for this like agency that tries to prevent these disasters from happening. They're hunting like a bomber down, and then he meets this guy in a bar, and they start exchanging stories, and shit gets kind of crazy from there. So it's a real one of those like mindfuck movies that once you start getting into it, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, that happened, and that happened, and your eyes just get wider and wider and wider, and just this craziness ensues. And again, I don't want to spoil too much about it, but I think it's a really underrated movie. It's a lot of fun, and I give it a solid A+.
I'm in. I want to check it out.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yes.
interesting. And I like Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great.
Are you sure it's not Matt Dillon? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I understand always.
I
that
get those two so
connection.
mixed up sometimes.
Right. Well, Watson, I'm glad you didn't spoil it because I haven't seen it either, so I can't really comment on it. So we'll see if anyone else.
I'm afraid it might end up in the haven't seen category, like it has been for the last 7 years, unfortunately. But I love this movie.
Yeah. Andres, have you seen it?
I'm sorry to break your heart, man, but I have not seen it actually.
Ooh,
But I will say one thing: it's truly on my list because Video Drew has been going nuts about this movie for the past couple of years. She absolutely, hands down, loves this movie, top to bottom.
Yeah.
So it's been on my list.
That's a solid recommendation.
Yeah.
Video Drew.
Oh yeah. So it's called. It's on my list. Unfortunately, I have not seen it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Vanessa, Robert, have you guys seen it? You said you didn't, right?
No, we have not seen it.
I remember the cover on the Blu-ray at work.
I remember the cover of the Blu-ray at work.
But I
having to put it away. and stuff.
But never watched it. But again, it's this is what's cool about these things is you learn about movies that you didn't know about, or they get pushed to your forefront.
Back when Best Buy carried movies.
Yeah, back in the
day.
Right. So we haven't seen it either.
It's a sad on the shelf of itself.
Yeah.
God.
Well, Jen, have you seen it?
I'm so sorry, Austin. I also have not seen
It's
it.
okay.
I have heard Drew talk about it, and Ethan Hawke he's made a career out of being in like underseen gems. So I do want to see it eventually. I'm sure I'll enjoy it, but not yet.
Yeah, it's not free on any streaming services right now. You can't rent it and stuff like that or buy it digitally. But I have the Blu-ray, but it is what it is. But I think the Blu-ray is like $10. It's a great. I would say it's a great blind buy. Trust me on it. It's a great blind buy. You will enjoy it. I can assure you that. So I'm guessing then if I go on that and I get another quick pick, nobody else has seen Time Crimes besides me either.
Time Crimes? Never heard of it.
No? Oh, geez. Well, might as well skip it.
It sounds like a movie that shows up like in the background in Seinfeld or something.
At the bottom, at the very, very bottom. Oh,
Right
bottom
there.
corner right there. Time Crimes.
Right
bandage guy.
Next to Time
To the right.
Bandits.
To the right. To the right. To the
Second
right.
row,
This is Time
all the way
Bandit.
You're right now, y'all.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I'm just going to throw
We'll
it
put
in
it in
the
the haven't seen, and I'll just give it another recommendation. That's another great low budget, awesome movie. It's not a horror movie. They market it as a horror movie.
No.
It's not. It's just a sci-fi thriller. It's very low budget, but it's another one of these causal loop things where it's like these guys that can't escape their destiny or what they've started with this time travel stuff. But I'll just give it a recommendation too. But anyways, let me try to find a movie that people have seen. So let's see.
We're not going to talk about Time Crimes.
I mean, I need to know if there, unless 3 people have seen it, it's not going to go on the list. So
I mean,
me and Andre's doing it too.
Give us a quick rundown because
Sure.
I'm making a list of things I want to watch that I've never seen.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll give you the basic setup of like what happens in the first 10, 15 minutes. It's not spoiling anything. So they market it as a horror movie, but it's not. A guy is kind of he's sitting looking out in the woods, and he's like in the back of his house, and he sees something crazy in the woods like going on. He thinks he sees some kind of killer and like a naked woman like running around, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on, so he goes to investigate. He gets attacked. He kind of runs away through the woods, and he encounters somebody at this mysterious facility who has a time machine that sends him back a couple of hours, and thus begins a kind of inescapable loop where he's trying to figure out what's going on. And then there's a couple of twists and turns that, again, I don't want to spoil, but like it's very like it's very contained. It's very contained. Like it literally takes place in like 2 settings. Like it's very, very contained. It's like a small movie. It's a Spanish film, but it's really, really smart and really well done, and it'll really mess with your head a lot. Like it gets into that stuff where it's like, okay, like I forget the main character's name, but it's like so and so 1, 2, and 3, and 4. It was like 4 of them running around at one point. Like it's crazy. Like it's insane. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I really want to talk about this movie because the minute it was on there, I was like, yes, we're going to talk about time crimes. But if no one's seen it, really, all I can say, it's one of the best time travel movies in terms of the logic of the time travel itself. There's never, like, with every single time travel movie, even the great ones, there is sort of a small little thing where you go, but if this happens, then that doesn't, this entire movie falls apart and you have to get a cinematic leniency. Yeah,
it's one of those things where even if it's like at the beginning of the movie, you're like, but wait, when the movie's over, you're like, but wait, but at the beginning of the movie, if this was going at the same time, then wasn't this already happening? Like it'll like make your brain explode. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing is that with the time travel logic in this movie, it's airtight, and that's a very rare thing in time travel films. So I can't recommend Time Crimes enough. It's one of the best out there. One of the best foreign language films I've ever seen as well. So I fucking love this movie. If I was to put it anywhere, it would be an S rank, but no one's seen it. Glad we talked about it. That's it.
Unfortunately. Yeah,
unfortunately. Yeah. But we'll still give it a recommendation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Austin, do you want to pick another one, or do you want to move on?
Okay, I'm assuming everybody's seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, so let's just talk about that. Sure, why not?
Excellent, dude.
All right. So we'll talk
Austin,
about
I haven't seen it. Sorry.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. What's that? Yeah, right. Yeah, I think this one's a pretty easy S tier as well, at least for me. Yeah. It's one of the classic 80s comedies. It's a great buddy movie. And it's even a good solid time travel movie. I like the way they portray time in the movie as like these long threads that are just continuous, back and forth all over the place. It's a pretty prominent theory actually in time travel. They're just these strands of time, and we're just bouncing back and forth between them. And it's just a lot of fun. It's one of the more like, if you're not looking to hurt your brain with the time travel, if you just want to have fun in these different locales, picking up these different figures, and not try to, something like Predestination or Time Crimes that's going to make you have an aneurysm thinking about it. You just want to have a little fun with it, but they still play around with like how it creates, different loops and them encountering each other and stuff, and it's still fun to think about. But Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is one of the great laid back time travel movies of all time. So I think it belongs in the S tier.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'd say S tier all the way. Like yeah, this is one of my not only favorite time travel movies, like favorite movies period. Like I'm a diehard Keanu Reeves fan. He's one of my like top 10 of all time actors for me. So yeah, like for me, you can almost do no wrong. I mean, there's a couple kind of wonky ones, but yeah. So like, but I would give it a solid S tier. Like it's just fun from start to finish. It's got the comedy. It's got the cool time travel. It's got George Carlin in there, Rufus. I mean, come on. Like what more do you need? So yeah. Andres, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely S tier all the way for me. This, I actually did not get to see this until last year, actually, right before the new Bill and Ted was going to come out. But having said that, I saw it at a drive-in with a triple feature of the first of all 3 movies back to back,
Ooh, nice.
This and that's honestly just the best way to experience this on the big screen with an audience. Well, everyone was in their cars at the time, but it was just fantastic. I saw the magic, and it was just one of those things where I'm like, how the hell did I grow up watching the second one first? I love the second
Yeah.
one, but I never seen the first, and then after seeing the first, absolutely, it hands down an S tier for me, hands down.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus also, plus also it has
Yeah.
one of my favorite gags with the ending, where it very much is based on time travel, but without going too much into it, it really does kind of play into what the third film is. And it's just one of those things where in a normal film, it would probably just be like, oh man, that's such a cop out. But because it's a comedy with the tone, it's like, all right, I'll buy that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Vanessa?
Yeah, I consider this an S tier time travel movie. I really love just the premise of the story too. Like they have to go and do really well on their project because the world depends on it. You know, they need Bill and Ted to make it all peace and love in the future. So the fact that they have this time travel machine that they actually go back to these different times and pick out different historical figures and bring them back to their time, and then seeing those historical figures react to things that are happening in Bill and Ted's time is great. I love it, especially when they go to the mall.
Yeah.
Yes, the fish out of water aspect of the story that really does add that extra layer to Bill and Ted's that makes it that great movie that we grew up watching and love and rewatch all the time. It's our Doctor Who, it's what the Americans needed at the time for Doctor Who. It was kind of our answer. It was crazy, it was wild, it was funny, it was silly, it was childish, and it was a little bit vulgar at times. But that's the best thing about it, and embodies pretty much all gamuts of pop culture at the time. And you throw time travel in there, you got Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. And the fact that they were able to come back and do it 3 times, but this one is always, listen to this guy Rufus, he knows what he's talking about. George Carlin, everything about this movie is incredible. So yeah, of course it's top tier.
Give our love to the princesses.
You'll see.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see.
Yep. Jen, what do you think?
Oh yeah, this is easily an S tier. I like the comparison that this is the American Doctor Who because it's not too interested in the very specific layout of how time travel works, but it's more about the party and the vibe and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely probably one of the most playful movies that we're going to talk about today, and I think that's all the more reason why people love it so much. And it also has one of the best romances of all time. Like Bill and Ted, they're made for each other, and they're hilarious. But at the same time, there's a moment in this movie where Bill thinks Ted is dead, and it hits me every time. I'm like, oh my God, it's funny.
Don't
so yeah,
be dead,
it's
dude.
really fun. And he's like, I thought you're dead. So it's really fun, and it is very uplifting for me, at least at the end and everything. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great movie, and San Dimas high school football rules. Yeah, it's great.
Yep, exactly.
Plus, how many movies have the basic theme or the basic messages just be excellent to each other?
Right.
Very positive. Very positive.
Yeah. Well, it's unanimous. S tier it is. So
we actually have a board game.
Yeah, so I haven't cracked it open
yet. We haven't looked at it, but it's a Bill, but it's literally it's more of a trivia game, but it's it does history and math, all the stuff that they have to go and do. That's the stuff it asks you.
It's just Trivial Pursuit written by someone from the Valley. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I believe it's my turn now. So I have one that I want to go for just to see what you guys think. It was one of my favorite time loop movies, but I got to go with Happy Death Day. So I have a lot of love for Happy Death Day. I think that it's actually pretty smartly written too, because it's just it's a time loop, but it's also got some comedy elements. It's got some horror elements. There's a serial killer on the loose. There's even some things where she's trying to repair the relationship with her father and all these different things. And then it kind of keeps you on your toes, kind of guessing who the serial killer actually is and how she's going to go back and she's going to stop it all. And so, yeah, I had a lot of fun. I wouldn't go so far as to put it in the S tier, but for me personally, I do rank it pretty high. I was actually pretty surprised by the performance of Jessica Roth or Rothy, however you pronounce her name. But yeah, so I'm gonna give this a solid A tier. I'm not gonna put it above Edge of Tomorrow, but I'm gonna put it kind of at the bottom of the A tier for me personally, because this is just a personal favorite of mine. But we'll see what you guys think. Andres, what do you think?
As a big horror guy, I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. Absolutely. I had a ton of fun with it. I thought it was also pretty smartly written as well too. And definitely the time travel does play into it quite a bit. So I see where your argument for A is. For me, it's sort of in between A and B. Like I like in terms of the time travel films, I would say it's above higher than Frequency, but it's just a ton of fun. It's a very enjoyable film, and it's also just we don't get too many horror. I would even consider this to be a comedy. Actually, like we don't get too many horror comedies that deal with time travel. So I'm very comfortable with it being right there.
Yeah, you said like a low A, probably.
Low A for me. Low A.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Vanessa, what do you think for Happy Death Day?
I'll give this a solid B+.
Right.
I do like the premise. I like the different elements of genres that they have in there, like the comedy, the time travel, the horror elements of it too. The way that it's intricate between going like on a loop and stuff like that is great. But it's not like one of the better time travel movies for me personally. So I'd give it a solid B+.
Mm-hmm. All right.
About right.
Well,
that makes sense. Yeah,
Robert?
I mean, I was very late to the Happy Death Day party. We should have done a reaction to it. But the movie actually wasn't a thing when I actually watched it. But I love what they've done with the series. I would very much like to see if they would do a third one, Happy Death Day Tree. But it would be great, to kind of finish it off in a nice little time travel trilogy, because that's a thing. So when it came to the first one, I liked it. But again, it kind of did lack a little bit of a punch. Like if it was on a level of like Scream, just in terms of violence, even, just suspense. If you kicked up that side of the story, because it felt to me like the CW version, where that's why I skipped it for so long, is because it just wasn't engaging. When you watch it, you can buy into it and get into it, because, these are characters you don't know, people you don't know. And just from face value, it didn't just look hard edge, at least to me, in terms of storytelling. What got me through it was the time travel, and because of that, definitely B+. So above Frequency is where I would put it.
Sounds good. Jen, what do you think?
I didn't see this in theaters, but I saw it when it hit VOD, and I'm a big fan of horror comedies, and this is a great little horror comedy. Like on paper, it does seem like just kind of like a studio idea of like, oh, let's do Groundhog Day, but it's with like a little bit of horror in there. But I think it's elevated by the execution, and particularly by the performance from Jessica Roth. Like she makes this movie. It would not be as successful as it is. It would not have gotten a sequel if it weren't for her performance. And I was pleasantly surprised how well the second one was, like, honestly, because it's such a very strict idea. So to like continue that and actually have it pay off is a great accomplishment. So I'm hoping there's going to be a 3, and I've seen people saying, hey, it should be a crossover with Freaky, and I would be all for that. So I'm all
that would be great.
I want it. So I for me, I think I kind of like where it is right now. I think it's a low A for me.
Mm-hmm. All right, Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's like a low A too. It was something that really surprised me the night I saw it. I remember just thinking like it was going to be. I thought it was going to be fun, but I didn't think it was going to connect as much as it did. Especially like Jordan was talking about, like the stuff where she eventually just starts using the day to spend more time with her parents, like just to enjoy those moments, like, and she kind of savors that. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like when it gets to you eventually because it's so well written, and then you kind of forget that it's like a horror movie for a while. And I think that even the movie kind of puts that on the back burner for a little bit, and then kind of brings it back at the end. But I even like some of the concepts they have of her getting like well, you can't get hit in the head with a baseball bat over and over again and not have like a concussion the next day or something. Like she has like lingering effects and she's kind of wakes up hurting and stuff. Like I kind of like some of those ideas. So it's good stuff. It's solid. Yeah, it's not like an S tier movie or anything like that, but I think like an A- is perfectly good for it. It's a pleasant surprise if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely brought back 50 cents in the club again as soon as you saw that
Yeah.
trailer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, over and over again. Yeah.
And then in the movie, it's that thing where it's like, hey, it's my birthday, and I gotta pick up the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Like I had that stuck in my head for a little while.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Well, I think that based on the votes, they stay right where it is. Probably, I think that's
yeah, 4 and 2. So it's, stays in the A tier. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're back to Andre. So what do you want to go for?
All right, you know what? I'm gonna go for it right now. Keep going downwards. I'm just gonna go for it right now. Get it?
See it.
Terminator.
All right. Terminator 1 or Terminator 2?
Or both. Or do you want to rank both?
I'm gonna go for the first one actually.
All right. Sounds good.
We'll get to the second one. We'll get to the second
Will we?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, right. Maybe. Yeah.
But yeah. I would put that in an S rank for myself, actually. But here's one of the reasons why I put that in an S rank. It is such a blend of many different genres where it's not only a time travel movie, where it's sort of defined that one film where it's like, oh, someone goes into the past to try to save the future type of thing, which we had not seen done that well by that point in 1984. But also on top of that, just giving us just probably one of the more sinister villains we've ever had cinematically with the Terminator, where he's just unfeeling. He just doesn't stop. He just pursues you to no end. It's almost like the sci-fi version of Michael Myers more than anything else. But I will say, in terms of the time travel element of this film, it also does deal with sort of the post-traumatic stress that comes with Reese coming back into the future and knowing more than what Sarah does, and just sort of him just kind of walking around this world as a fish out of water for almost the entire film, not understanding, oh wait, there's something called hot dogs, like, you know what I mean? Like there's like small, like, in terms of a script, there's very few scripts that feel so tight, but feel like it has so much meat on the bones to it and has so much fat and so much tasty deliciousness to it that it's for me, it's absolutely one of the best films ever made. If Terminator 2 did not exist, I would say it was my all-time favorite movie, but hands down, it's one of the best out there. I cannot help but put it in the S tier. So there you go.
Yeah. Vanessa, what do you think for the first Terminator?
So I've not seen it.
Yeah, now I'm gonna add
wow.
I've never seen the first Terminator. Back when I was younger, it was like a weird thing. Like I would watch the second movies of all of these. Like I watched Aliens first before I watched Alien. I saw Addams Family Values before I saw the first Addams Family.
Which is superior.
So it was just
I love it.
So like I watched Honey I Shrunk Ourselves before I saw Honey I Shrunk.
Oh no!
I've seen, like movies before the first one,
really?
and this was one of those movies where I saw Terminator 2: Judgment Day, and for some reason I just never went back to watch the first one. So yeah, I've never seen the first one.
Coming soon to our channel, Late to the Party.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Watches
Send me a link to that, please. Oh my God!
We'll send it to everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
People will bow to it.
Yeah.
Robert?
My turn. Terminator.
Yeah,
Come on, it's
what do you think,
Terminator.
Robert?
You've got a cybernetic being coming back from the past or the future to the past to destroy the future that we know, essentially, of any chance of the human surviving. And really, it's just to be able to shoot a gritty action, dark horror type movie in Los Angeles, but not have to do like a futuristic battle. So it was so brilliant the way they orchestrate the entire movie being here with just the streets. It's so damn greedy. It's so 70s. Like it feels 70s. Was it even in the 70s? Was it late 70s?
It was in the
84.
Early 80s.
84.
Yeah.
84.
The grittiness of it feels like a 70s horror film.
It does.
And that's what I think is so different from the first one to the second one that makes them completely separate movies, but yet you tie everything together because it's all the same people. But because of that, I can never kick Terminator.
All right, you
out
sold
of
me on the
ass.
first one. Let's go.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
great. And it's dark.
Yes.
Holy crap, the cop.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
The police station is by far one of the most like clenching. Like it's so suspenseful.
Is it kind of like
as it all plays out?
how the second ones are more action, and then you've got like the first one's more kind of like darker, like
Yep.
Alien versus Alien.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry, real quick, but I'd be remiss if we would not talk about Stan Winston's amazing design work on this film. Rest in peace.
Oh yeah.
But it was him selling us on the idea of the machine inside the man that made this even scarier. And to your point that you're talking about with that scene in the police station, you just feel that it is unstoppable. Like there is absolutely nothing anybody can do in this timeline. So yeah, just to add on that.
Nope. And it's brutal and it's beautiful because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's time
Absolutely.
travel, very little bit. Those flashbacks to Kyle Reese and what went on with him, like those are great. They're terrifying. One in particular is just horrific. I remember watching as a child. I'm like, I am terrified of a future like that. They do a good job.
Yeah. Jen, what do you think for Terminator?
Yeah, I think there's no way I can argue that this isn't an S tier. Like I do prefer the second one to the first, but yeah, it's still like it is a masterpiece. And like when you think of just like concepts for sitting down and writing a time travel movie, this is one of the best ones there is. But having said that, like I think while the first one, it's amazing what they pulled off with a very small kind of indie budget and everything. And like, even just looking at that scene where you're first seeing the metal behind the man in the mirror, and everything like that's still to this day, chilling effects on that scene. But then you get the effect of success and money in the second one of Cameron kind of getting to take all of the ideas he had for the first one and really fully realize them in the second one. So when we talk about the second one, I would put it higher than this one, but I still think this is an S tier movie, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Austin?
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or fear or remorse, and it absolutely will not stop ever till you are dead. No, it's great, and I think Terminator is my favorite of the series because I absolutely adore the Kyle Reese character. Like I think Michael Biehn gives an incredible performance that doesn't get talked about enough in that movie. Like Schwarzenegger's great as this like cold-blooded robot killer, but like Reese is so great. Like he's amazing at conveying this thing, and you feel for him, and you feel his pain when he's hurting throughout the movie and when he gets injured, and you see Sarah Connor's kind of transformation throughout the movie, having to step up, come on soldier, get up, all that stuff at the end is great. Just like, and again, I'm like Andres, I'm a horror guy, so like I love that it feels more like a horror movie than the other ones do. It's got that slasher movie feel, and I dig it. So yeah, it's a high S tier for me, definitely.
Man, I can't wait for you to watch it. Now that he brought up Kyle Reese and he brings up Michael Biehn.
I know
Michael
Biehn.
Right.
Oh, I know you do, and that's why I'm excited for you to watch Michael Biehn in his element. Woo.
Yep,
I'm excited.
Makes us forget Jai Courtney played him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Anton Yelchin even had a little taste. So I love Anton.
I actually liked Anton far better. I thought he could grow into being Michael.
He just felt different, It was just it helped me set it up in a different universe, sort of Terminator, and I was okay with that. They just had to ruin the movie in the trailer, but whatever.
Yeah, right.
Jordan?
Well, I would say S tier for sure. Like I do like the second one a little better, but this movie is where we're first introduced to Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator. It's the first time we're introduced to one of the best female action stars of all time, Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, which is freaking awesome. And then just seeing like the way that the Terminator interacts with the human character, you see a little bit of the humanity in there. Where he's like acting, he's asking about like laughter, he's asking about why do people cry and like all that.
That's in two, though.
Well, that's,
Hold it.
that's number two.
Hold it.
Okay, number two. Well, anyways, we get introduced to that, and we get to see a few little glimpses. You even got a few cool kind of character actors. You see Lance Henriksen pop up. You see Bill Paxton even pop up as like some kind of punk rocker guy in it. So
With like a tire tread on his
cool.
face.
Yeah.
Well, it's an 80s movie, so you have to have Dick Miller as the gun shop owner at the beginning as well.
Right.
You know?
Oh yeah, right.
Hey, just what you see on the wall, pal, you know?
Yeah, right. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an S tier. I'm gonna put it kind of lower on the S tier, but I'll give it an S tier. So
All right, fair enough. It makes the S tier.
yeah, I'll make the S tier. So
Remember
we're
how Dick Miller died in the first Gremlins, but then he came back in the second one just okay? I love it.
Hey, we never saw him die. We never
I
saw him
agree.
die. You
I
see the
agree, but-
lights in front of him, but we never actually see him get run over or die. We
But
never
we
see
do
that.
show
Yeah.
the Gremlin stop very heavily because he hit the wall that they were in front of. So it's all
How do
like
you-
that.
how do you know-
Unless
How do you
he
know he
moved
didn't-
out of the way
Hey.
the other way?
You don't
just
know
saying,
he
I'm
knows
glad
his
they brought
own
him back.
his own tractor. His own tractor. He could have. There may be a spot in the middle. He could have crawled under. It
I
is his
agree.
tractor,
I-
so he
hey,
might know the ins and outs of it.
I'm happy he did. I'm happy he
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
I love Dick Miller.
yeah. Well,
All right.
we're back to Vanessa. So you got another one you want to talk about? You got
Yeah, you know what? Let's get these out of the way. We're going Back to the Future.
yeah.
Look,
Here we
like I
go.
said, let's just rank all of them. Let's go around and rank all of them. Let's make this fast. Like,
S-tier
yeah.
for
let's
the
do get them out of
first
the way.
one.
S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, S tier for the first one.
Just put it
Yeah,
all the way
right.
over. Do it. Go all the way to the left.
Yeah, right,
it's gonna end up being
Right,
number
right.
one.
Come on.
All the way over. Yeah.
Who we
Come on,
kidding
yeah,
here? There you
and
go.
Let's just get everybody's rankings on all three. We'll get it out of the way, and we could talk about other movies. You know what I mean? Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Well,
So, I mean, everybody just rank where you would put all three of them. So,
I would
Vanessa, where would you put the
second
sequels?
one? I would put the second and the third one A tier. I like the second and
Okay.
third
Alright,
one
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
Okay.
Put it there. I'll put the third one.
I'm
in
perfectly
too.
fine
But-
where it is right there.
But you have anything else you want to say about Back to the Future before we move on?
That hasn't been
Yes.
said about Back to the Future.
Yeah, right.
Yes, there is
Yeah,
something
right.
I
What
want
do
to
you
say.
say?
It's
Okay, so well, I want to say is the music to Back to the Future is amazing, especially in the 80s in the world of John Williams, because when you think of score, you think John Williams, but Alan Silvestri just did such a magical job of making this like iconic theme for Back to the Future that even if you've never seen Back to the Future and you hear the music, you're like, oh, that must be from that movie Back to the Future. Maybe I should watch. Like, it just makes you want to watch the movie all that much more. It's like the music itself is a character, and that's what I love about it, is because it's a character on its own. And then when you go in and actually watch the movie and you have the characters and the actors that are actually playing these characters, it's great. I love the relationship that Marty and Doc have with each other.
Yeah.
so yeah, obviously
Yeah.
we could go on forever about Back to the Future. We don't
Yeah,
have to
right.
go on about
You're
it.
going forever about it. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
Back to the Future, more recently, I never realized how much of a mirror that Back to the Future 3 and Back to the Future 1 are. And that's what holds Back to the Future 3 up
Mhm.
there so high for me, was because they had the balls to go and actually repeat history once again from something that happened before, except it's far more lethal than the way it was before. It's not falling into, or getting into some nice little hoverboard chase or a skateboard chase.
No,
He's
Drew's just gonna
running
hang
for
you.
his life from horses that are going to hang him in the town square. That's how we had to hang him. So but everything else is going the same way. He falls down, hits the fence, knocks himself out. Same thing, got hit by the car, ends up in like everything is identical to the first Back to the Future movie. It's a beautiful bookend that is reciprocating what was amazing about the first one that makes time travel possible. It's what makes this trilogy so amazing to keep it high up. And I personally, that whole connection, because you can make that connection with like Home Alone, where Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 are kind of the same because they go through the same kind of beats. But this one was just better crafted in my later life. My opinion, it was better crafted that I didn't pay attention to until later in life. So yeah, Back to the Future, incredible, goes up at the top.
Yeah, for sure. Jen, what do you think?
Yeah, not much more can be said about Back to the Future. It's arguably one of the most perfect scripts out there. It's just a fantastic piece of Americana, and I absolutely agree with everything Vanessa said about the score. Because yeah, it just makes you want to like get up and run. Like it's really great. Yeah, for me, so that's absolutely it's number one. It's number one with a bullet. For me, Back to the Future 2, I'm not as big a fan of. Like I appreciate the exercise and like how much logistically it has to kind of run through and like fit in with what happened before and everything, but it also makes my brain hurt just a tiny bit. So that would be a B for me. But meanwhile, part 3, I absolutely love. I didn't really think about it before, but yeah, Robert's right. It is pretty much like a beat for beat thing, but it's in the Old West and you can't hate the Old West. But I do love that they took Christopher Lloyd of all people and turned him into a romantic lead for the third one. Because like his relationship with Mary Steenburgen is really damn sweet, and it's really cute, and I love it. And I love seeing ZZ Top spin their little guitars in the middle of like a hoedown. So yeah, it's really fun, and I absolutely love the third one because it just kind of brought back a different feel to the magic of the first, whereas the second was like we just kind of trimmed the line of where we are. So yeah, I think it's S for 1, B for 2, and A for 3.
All right, so and Robert, we forgot. Did you give a ranking for all 3 of them? Like, where would you rank all?
No, yeah, it's exactly where you have it.
Gotcha.
All right, perfect. Perfect. All right, Austin.
Yeah, S. My rankings are pretty much the same. Yeah, S for the first one, and I think both the sequels are A's. I love the alternate 80s sequence in Back to the Future 2. It's one of my favorite kind of extended sequences in that movie. Just I love evil Biff, like evil billionaire Biff or whatever the hell he is in that movie. Like he's awesome. Yeah, and he does get more sadistic throughout the movies. I mean, he's like shooting at Marty and he's ready to murder him. Like he's, in that third movie, he's ready to hang him, or even at the end of the second one, he's trying to run him into walls. Like he doesn't care about murdering. Like he's a straight up psychopath. But but he's great. And I've grown an appreciation over the years as I've become an adult for the third one because I'm a big fan of the Clint Eastwood westerns. I've become a big fan of those, and the fact there's so many references like to the Clint Eastwood stuff, and Marty's wearing the same poncho that the Man with No Name wears, and there's all kinds of there's some really good like western tropes and stuff that they play around with in that movie that are a lot of fun. So I've grown appreciation of that one. So yeah, I'd put both those on the A tier, and of course Back to the Future's number 1 with the bullet. Like of course it is.
Yeah. Well, I just have one question for you. What the hell is that? Like that.
21 gigawatts.
Yeah, like that. That line's one of my favorites in all 3 of the movies. And actually, for me, like I actually like Back to the Future 2. That movie's my third favorite movie of all time. So I actually put it above the other 2 Back to the Future. So I'd give the second Back to the Future the highest ranking on this entire list for me. So like I rank it really high. Because I just like seeing that.
It was that
like how they like
really like those hoverboards. I understand.
It was awesome.
Yeah, like,
awesome.
We're
I
still
really
waiting
wanted
for
one.
those hoverboards.
How the hell he changed his coast?
Yeah, right.
Oh my god, the intricacy.
I'm still waiting for the power laces, guys.
Yeah, power laces. I mean, yeah, like
that's doable. I don't know what they're doing.
All that stuff. Yeah, like, but like seeing a glimpse into the future, like you're seeing how they parallel the first one. Yeah, 2015, the future. Yeah, but yeah, seeing how they parallel everything, how how he's sneaking around and trying to get the Gray's Sports Almanac, but then ends up being Ooh La La or whatever. So yeah,
Ooh La La.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, I have a lot of fun with it, and like probably like 1 and 3 would be on the same par for me. So like, I would actually probably put them all in the S tier, honestly, but I would put Back to the Future 2 higher though. So I'd put probably 1 and 3 at the bottom of S tier, probably Back to the Future 2 right at the top. So that's kind of
so you're not going to put 2 and 3 in the S tier.
No, I am. So I'm going to put
well,
all 3 in
that's where he would rank it. That's what he would rank them, but we have to average out the scores.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like average it out. Yeah. So where are we at?
Well, like Andre still needs to. I think Andre still needs to vote.
Oh yeah.
I think, and then I'll let you know. So yeah.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right. Well, Back to the Future 1, hands down, S tier. No other thing about it. I mean, like honestly, you guys have summed it up perfectly. It's a perfect time travel movie for me, except for the fact that when you think about one small detail, kind of makes it kind of go, oh, wait a minute, that wouldn't work. But the thing that's magical about this movie is that you don't think about that. You don't think about the fact that, oh, you know what? The very minute that Marty saves his father, he should have disappeared right then and there. You don't think about it because literally the movie is so much goddamn fun. It's one of the best out there. I can't tell you how many times when my AMC opened up, I went to go see Back to the Future over and over and over again. It's absolutely one of the best out there. But in terms of the sequels, I would actually agree with Jen where part 3 I actually would put it as an A movie actually for me. Part 2 is great. I absolutely love part 2, but part 2 for me feels like a greatest hits of Back to the Future. It feels like revisiting certain elements and remixing them in small ways here and there that sort of give you a little more stakes in terms of if you've seen the previous film. But I think 3 stands on its own in so many ways, and it's such a radically different beast. And then also on top of that, making the third film a Western when you clearly establish this as a modern, as sort of like a time travel movie, a modern day time travel movie. What faith in the audience? Seriously, I mean, it's just fantastic. And the ending for me, anytime I see that time machine get destroyed, some part of me just always kind of goes, it's done. like yeah. But yeah. So part 2, I would give it a B. Part 3, solid A.
All right.
Well, so Back to the Future 3, according to me, goes above part 2 in the A tier, actually, according to my scores. Sure. And part 2 is kind of right near Edge of Tomorrow in the middle of the A tier right now.
For the record, it is a crime that Thomas F. Wilson didn't have a bigger career after this because
because he's great. He's great.
And he does stand up too. If you haven't seen his stand up, he has a song about Back to the Future. It's fucking hilarious. So, yeah.
So I have a picture with him after a stand up show. He's great. He's a super nice dude, and his stand up's really funny. So if you get a chance to check him out.
I just binged Freaks and Geeks the last couple days, all of season 1. Dude, Thomas Wilson is he's so good
awesome.
He's
so good. Yeah.
I wish he was like my PE teacher or coach.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
So he does such a great job too. But and he was doing stuff on YouTube for a while, having a good old time. But Tom Wilson. Also loved him in That Darn Cat, that remake.
Yes.
There you go.
He's in love with Marla Hooch.
That's right. I forgot about that.
His favorite cuts. How is he supposed to know that?
Yeah, right.
I love that ending. I love when she's like, "Well, you gotta at least say something." You know what I mean?
Right. Tom Wilson, Biff, all the characters made it great. It would have been better, if the original Jennifer didn't have to leave. It would have been better if they actually had George McFly again. Christmas.
Yeah, right.
I understand.
But we can't get that man Elizabeth Shue. It's Elizabeth Shue. Come on.
I get it, but they themselves didn't. They the one thing that they said they would have changed was not putting Jennifer in the car at the end because that totally grounded them in a certain way to write the story. Unfortunately, but I felt like they could have had something with Jennifer. She could have played a part in the world, but it was just like they knock her out for pretty much the entire time. So it isn't used well.
They knock her out, and she has probably one of my favorite moments in the entire franchise when she runs into herself.
Oh no! I'm old. Yeah. And also, I really want to try a dehydrated pizza.
Doorknob.
Vanessa didn't know it was Marty.
Okay, so for the longest time, even when I first watched the movie, I was like, why does his daughter look so weird? Like the way the mannerisms. And I was like,
my mom did that too.
Didn't know it was Michael J. Fox.
It's like, why does it look like he's lip syncing? It's like,
I just could not put my finger on like why. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, that's freaking Michael J.
Yeah.
It took a really long time for me. I will admit, it took me a really long time to realize that was Michael J. Fox. So.
Acting.
Acting. And also, I really want to try a dehydrated pizza just for like see what it tastes like. If there's any way to make something like that good, probably not, but it's probably awful. But But
Hydrate
like,
level 4, please.
yeah, right. Yeah, but
We're 6
but-
years past, world. Come on, keep up.
yeah,
Yeah.
You
come on.
cooperated.
Yeah. But
Needles,
All right,
it was
Robert.
needles, clarify bus.
My turn. All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do
you're
one that
first.
really had an
Right.
impact on me, blew me away. I hated Ashton Kutcher. I just couldn't stomach
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher.
I like where you're going here, though.
That 70s show, that the dude where's my car. I couldn't do it. Then I watched
Yeah.
Butterfly Effect, and I was like, dude,
Butterfly Effect.
there you are. Like, I see you in a whole different way. And Butterfly Effect to me was just so dark. So like it was to me, it was like the Donnie Darko that spoke to me. Like everybody else was all about Donnie Darko, and I was like, I kind of like Butterfly Effect. That one's pretty dark, and it's a different way of just time travel too. So I would say that one's going up there as an A for me. Bottom of the A. I would say right there, dead center. Dead center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Jen,
what?
Oh man, yeah. There was something about this movie that, like, for whatever reason, when it first came out, it was played all the time on cable, and like I did end up watching it a lot. But yeah, it is like it's kind of one of those things where I have the same problem with Stephen King of like, it's an idea, and for whatever reason, it's like when you're given the option, people will automatically go to the worst place imaginable. Like, it's just one of those things, because like there's a particular moment where they're kids at the time, and he hands the friend, it's like a knife or a shard of metal or whatever. He's like, all right, you'll know what to do. And the idea is to like cut open the bag to save a dog, and instead he just fucking stabs somebody. And I'm like, I was like, that is not on you. That is on that child. Okay, so like that, it's one of those things where it's getting worse and worse, and I'm like, oh my god, how did we get here? So it is like an exercise in the worst of humanity. But damn, it's still compelling. So I do enjoy it at the end of the day. I do like the alternate ending more than what it ended up with. But it's a very interesting idea. And it's probably a B for me, but I've seen it a lot now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah.
Yeah. Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, I've probably seen the Butterfly Effect an unhealthy amount of times too, for how kind of dark and morose it is. And as far as like, literally, it's like, oh, he goes back as a kid, and oops, he forgot about the M80s and the thing, and he blows his arms off, and then he just grows up and doesn't have any arms. Like, what the hell is going on in this
sometimes
movie?
you just have a nice day. It's okay.
And then the guy like stabs somebody, and he ends up in like what's his name? Yeah, Foggy Nelson ends up in like a insane asylum. Like, oh my god, like where is this movie going? Like strapped to a bed. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then and I don't know, should we spoil the director's cut ending and how effed up that is? Like, if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's been out for a while. I mean, the fact that his last resort in the alternate cut is to I'm gonna look at my sonogram or the film or whatever and go back and strangle myself as a fetus. Like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? It's just like the darkest time travel ideas you could possibly think of, but yet at the same time, like, it's pretty damn compelling, and like everybody's like really good in it, and you can't stop watching it no matter how crazy it gets. So like I like the movie despite how batshit insane it is. But I would still give it an A, like I because of how compelling it is. But I wouldn't have put it above like the Back to the Future sequels, but it's like a solid A.
And like, this is one of the movies, like, from the outside looking in, like when I first saw the trailers for it, I was like this movie looks terrible. Like, I'm not gonna watch it. But then you go to watch it, and it's like just so compelling. Just kind of what you said. Like, I just echo all of what you said, Austin. But it's just so good. It makes you want to keep watching, even though there's so many dark things one after the next, and then you're waiting to find out where he's gonna end up next, and like all these crazy scenarios. And so like, I would actually give it an A as well. Like, I think it's perfect right where it is, right at the bottom of A tier. I'm pretty happy right there. So, Andres?
All right.
Speaking about that trailer, when I was growing up, and my only way of finding music and finding like just ways around the world, just via trailers and via movies and stuff like that, I will say it definitely did introduce me to Stains. It's been a while, so I would say after I saw this trailer, I'm like, it's a great song. But you know what? But then I went out and saw the movie, snuck into it, and it was fucking dark. Like there's, talk about a time travel movie that deals with, fathers trying to murder their kids, the pedophilia nature of this movie as well too. They touch on a lot of really, really dark stuff that I don't think a lot of movies, even still to this day, have the.
They'd be shy about doing one of those storylines, and this does all of those storylines.
And it's like, and again, like the kids killing each other, or like just. But the one thing I do love about this movie is that the time travel, it's not necessarily in a science. You only believe it to a certain extent. And it's like, you know what? You either buy into it, that he reads the journals and you're done. And if you don't, then sorry, you can leave. But having said that, I will say this movie really, really surprised me. And it was dark to the point of nihilism. And like everybody else here, I watched it an unhealthy amount of times in the summer of 2004 when I was waiting for Spider-Man to come out. But it was this movie I remember loving top to bottom. And like I don't love it nearly as much as I did when I was a kid, but I will agree with Robert where it was my Donnie Darko as well. Everybody was freaking out about it. And I'm like, no, I like Butterfly Effect better.
Yeah.
Really, you're gonna like the Ashton Kutcher movie?
Ashton Kutcher, I do.
Eric Stoltz, Amy Smart, which again, she hasn't done much in the past couple of years, but she was such a great actress back in the day.
Yeah, Ellen Henson and Ethan Suplee. Yeah, like a lot of cool people pop up in the movie.
No, absolutely. And what's called, Ethan Suplee has some of my favorite moments of the movie as well. Just when he keeps going back and how he keeps changing himself. It's like, just like that one small little thing. But anyway, I think it's perfectly suitable at the end of A tier, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it. It's not necessarily a fun time, but it's one of those that you're like, you know what, it's good. And I'm kind of
super compelling.
Super compelling. And I'm of two minds about the endings, because I love the theatrical ending, but I also love the alternate ending where it gets really, really freaking dark. And you're just like, wow.
I understand it's a lot darker, but it makes more sense to tie loose ends up.
Literally.
Tie loose ends up.
Literally.
They're just gonna go all Thanos on it.
Oh god.
Horrible.
Well, Vanessa, what do you think?
This movie's
it was a real miscarriage of justice what happens to his character. Oh wait, did I go there?
Right.
Sorry.
I remember going and seeing this movie at like the cheap theaters.
Sounds about right.
Like leaving the theater, I was like,
Dollar Theater.
Like it was like really interesting to me. Like I was thinking about it after the fact, like of all the things that happened. And like, I do like the elements of like it going through his life and then having those like blackout moments. And then you come back to those blackout moments because like of the journals and stuff. So I do like that it's like back and forth. You kind of see like as it's happening and then you come back to it because he's having those blackout moments. I liked Ashton Kutcher in this one. It was a surprise because of like the stuff he's done before where he plays like the really dumb characters and stuff. And so seeing him in a role like this, it was kind of jarring at first, but at the same time, like it was like, okay, I could see you in a different light. And that does happen to a lot of other actors too. Like when you talk about Robin Williams and his like when you think of him, he's a comedian, he does all of those, but when you get into some of the darker movies that he's done, like 1 Hour Photo,
he can tap in. Like, it's scary. Yeah.
Like it's just like, okay, like you're tapping into something and like you are like these actors are good contenders. Like you're like, okay, I can see like you have such a good range that I want to see more stories like this with you in it. So I would give it an A. I think it was put in the right place. I think that low A is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
6.
Well, I think we have enough votes to keep it right where it's at. So,
well, actually, it's a tad higher than Happy Death Day, according to my chart.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
right there in the middle. Yeah.
That's right.
I wouldn't be
That's
mad
about
about it. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
be mad about it either. I've seen it way more than I've
Yeah.
seen Happy Death Day. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
That's a good way to
All
look
right,
at it.
Miss-
We're just very cynical people here. That's all it is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Just
watch
have those
it
rough-
as soon as we're done.
I'm gonna watch it
Those
right
dark,
now.
rough, dark, rough weekends. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Butterfly Effect this weekend. Why not? You know?
yeah, right.
I just feel like having a shitty week. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But you're
But-
not having as nearly of a shitty week as these kids.
Yeah.
hmm
I will say though, so since we're at the hour and a half mark, I would just say kind of shoot more for your like S tier because we want to build up our top 10. But we can go ahead and pick whatever you want. That's just more of a suggestion. So if you want your favorites to be on the S tier before we're done with this thing, I'd shoot for that. So it is Jen. You're up first. So
Oh man, I'm
So
worried
find
that
one you
this
wanna
is like
talk
my
about.
last pick. So I'm caught between two.
Well, I think
It's
we've
not
got
your
enough time. If we go through these quick, we got enough time to go through another time, but we got to keep
Yeah.
it fairly quick. So
Okay.
yeah, we got another time for quick. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with what I originally was thinking of, and that's for something entirely different, and that's Time Bandits. I freaking love
Oh,
Time
yeah.
Bandits.
Ooh.
It
See,
is
that was
so
written down.
bizarre.
good pick.
This is
There it is.
maybe I should have switched. Yeah, it's,
No.
no, but this is like
You're
one
good.
of those just exercises in Terry Gilliam just taking an idea and running with it in all of his weird, odd fantasy elements. But yeah, it's just such a weird concept. Like all of these are very creative in terms of the time travel, but this is like taking time travel and turning it into kind of a heist film, but also like a little bit of history in there. And it's clearly a comedy because you got a lot of the regulars from Monty Python, plus Sean Connery, plus Shelley Duvall. Like there's a lot of really great actors in
Yeah.
this. And just the production design alone, like it's so creative and playful, but in a really interesting, dark way. So it's definitely an element of its time. But if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. For me, I would say it is an S tier, but that's because I'm weird. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, Austin, you were going to pick it. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I was only going to pick because I literally just saw this movie for the first time this week. I didn't grow up with it. Like I hadn't seen it before.
Nice.
But you know, I'd always kind of just heard it mentioned, but I just never got around to it. So I got around to it because it's on HBO Max. So I watched it, and you know, I really liked it. I wouldn't put it in S tier only because again, I just saw it for the first time. It was fun. I would still put it in like an A tier. And yeah, it's funny how like especially the Robin Hood sequence with John Cleese, like
Yes.
almost feels like
that's
it
so
feels like a mini Monty Python sketch, like in the middle
Yeah.
of the movie, because it's
It
like
definitely feels like it was on the cutting room floor of one of those.
Well, yeah, because it's like the concept of like it within the little that period is like, oh, Robin Hood's gonna give the poor this like trinket or something, but you have to get punched in the face by this lunatic right afterwards. So that's like the price. Like it feels like like a little Monty Python like setup or something, which I thought was funny. But yeah, like you know, anytime that you can give jobs to the little people and give them something to do, you know, give them the leads in the movie essentially and have them running around. Like I thought the kid actor was just kind of okay. He didn't really like do that much for me in the movie, but like it was cool to see Sean Connery pop up as Agamemnon and you know, see some of the Monty Python people show up. Shelley Duvall was a lot of fun. It was fun. It was a fun adventure movie. I liked it. I'd put it in like the A tier. I liked it.
Yeah, so I was along the same lines as you, Austin. I actually just watched this for the first time this week, and it's like, holy crap, how have I not seen this freaking movie? Like I watched it and like I didn't just like it, like I freaking love this movie. Like this movie was like amazing. Like the set pieces, like seeing all the comedy, having all the Monty Python people in there, and also Shelley Duvall playing the wife of like the like troll kind of ogre guy, like was just so good. And like just like all the little lines that like she would say to him, like you need to growl at him or you need to leer at him like you used to do, and she's all acting kind of flirtatious about it and stuff because like she gets like look in the mood when he does his like troll thing or whatever. So like that made me laugh, and then just seeing all the adventures that they're able to go on, like the weird kind of giant with the ship on its head. That was fun.
Yeah.
And then like there's so many time periods that they like go to. They go back to the time of the Titanic. They go back to like medieval time. They go back to like Roman time. They go back to all these times, and so like it's a lot of fun.
With Napoleon. Great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like I will say that the only thing that just kind of brings it to a low S for me, as a kid actor, he was fine. I didn't really think he was really great. So like that part with, well, again, the beginning and the end with his parents, I thought it wasn't the strongest for me, but that's being kind of nitpicky. But I do like also how they kind of meet God at the end too. Like that's an interesting scene. How they find out like he's just some guy or whatever. So yeah, but I had a lot of fun. So like I wish I would have saw this when I was a kid because I probably would have loved it even more. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in that tier.
I think there's a version of that movie out there that could have been done without the kid. I think you could have made that movie, and it actually would have been better. I'm sorry, I just thought he was kind of.
You need to be put in like he's the audience because you don't know what's going on, so you do have to have that kind of character.
I think the audience could catch up. I think the audience could catch up. I don't know.
Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there an extended cut of Time Bandits that has more with the kid, where basically it's not necessarily that there's less of the annoying stuff, but you get where he's coming from.
Yeah, they give him a little bit more meat to chew on.
Yeah, because I mean, well, sorry. I mean, I guess I'm talking now. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, no, I saw the extended cut of Time Bandits, and I was, again, I absolutely dig this movie a lot. I wasn't nearly as annoyed by the kid. I was just like, okay.
I usually have a lot of problems with British kids, and this one didn't bother me. So that means that he's a very good actor. So.
Yeah, there you go. I'm totally fine with it. But yeah, I mean,
it should just taking him out and replaced him with Fred Savage. I would have been totally fine just like seeing him again. Come on.
Fred Savage was off doing Princess Bride at the time, so I think it's
right.
It's a fair compromise, so it's fine.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm absolutely a huge fan of Terry Gilliam. I mean, like, just so much in his comedy, so much in his directing style where he bends towards what the movie is supposed to be. He doesn't necessarily, like, there's certain directors that you can look throughout every single one of their movies, and you can be like, oh, that is a movie by this guy. That is an Edgar Wright movie, or this is a Russo brothers movie. Whereas Gilliam has like a very particular style where he's almost indiscernible between movies. Like, you're just like, the hell is that? I mean, like, even to the stuff that he's doing now. I mean, recently with Dr. Parnassus. I mean, you can't tell me that's the same director. And granted, with this, to me, it's almost like a kid's movie more than anything else. I mean, again, I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I have a ton of fun with where they go with it. For me, it's absolutely an S tier movie.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Vanessa, what do you think for Time Bandits?
I've never seen the movie.
Ooh,
unfortunately,
right.
But it is on the list. It is on the list. It is on the list. We've talked about Time Bandits, and like every time we talk about it, like we should watch it, and then we never actually watch it, and then we talk about it again another time, and we're like, we still haven't seen it. We should watch it. So like it's always
on
there.
HBO Max now. So
and then we like never watch it. But yeah, it's on HBO Max, so it'll be easier to watch if we could do that.
So while you guys were gushing about Time Bandits, I had a coughing fit and it blew out my voice. So my voice is all like, I'm trying to recover. Sure. But I notice if I talk high, I can hear it there a little bit better. But if I try and talk low, like it hurts. Right. Like I can't.
Sexy helper over here.
I know, right? It's crazy. So for some reason, I'm going to talk like this.
Keep it short if you need to.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. So it's one I'm a huge fan of Monty Python, obviously. But when it comes down to this Terry Gilliam gem, I've seen all those other ones too. But for some reason, this one has always kind of been the one. Like Labyrinth, that and Dark Crystal for the longest time. I eventually watched Dark Crystal.
So good.
Fell in love with it.
See, Dark Crystal is the weakest of the three. So you should sit down and watch these.
I put a lot of things on pedestals, and it's like, I'll get to you masterpiece later. And eventually, I'll join in. But late to the party, and I could see that we're not the only ones, man. Everybody else too barely watched it, except for probably Andres and Jen.
Barely me.
Yeah. So
well, my father was obsessed with this movie, so I have seen this many times. Yeah.
But yeah, I've never seen it, but it's on the list. Well, I'm putting it on the list.
Put it on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put it on the list.
Yeah, well,
it's a great one. You're gonna have a ton of fun if you're a huge Monty Python fan. It's very much
dark
has that
comedy adventure. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
On the list.
But we're back to Austin now, so
Well, maybe
you
I'll
got?
just have to talk about another HBO Max movie that I watched for the first time today, and it's another movie with time in the title. It's called Time After Time.
Nice.
After
And
time.
yeah,
Right.
Where's that one at?
Right
I don't
there.
know.
You
I'll
see
have to
that
see.
at the
Is that the
bottom.
one with Malcolm McDowell
Yes.
Wait.
It's with the
Malcolm
red.
McDowell
Oh, yeah.
With the
Warner
red.
and
Is that
David
it?
Warner?
Yeah.
Yes,
David
Malcolm
Yeah.
McDowell, David
Warner.
Warner, and Mary Steenburgen, who's in Back to the Future 3. Yes.
All right.
So yeah, I just saw this for the first time, and man, like it knocked my socks off. I thought this movie was so much fun.
Yep.
It's a unique thing where they take the H.G. Wells story, which obviously is like he's known for writing the time machine, and Malcolm McDowell is playing H.G. Wells, and it's sort of like yes, he's inventing the time machine in this movie, but it's not the classic story where he goes back to like whatever it is, like the BC times and all that kind of stuff. He's chasing who he finds out is his colleague, who's Jack the Ripper, and he's going to chase him back to modern day, quote unquote, San Francisco, which is 1979 in the movie. So it's kind of half of a fish out of water thing, but H.G. Wells doing the fish out of water stuff, running around San Francisco, but he's also doing this kind of, he's trying to catch up with his buddy who is still on the rampage, killing prostitutes in San Francisco, and is doing what he did just in the modern day, but his justification is he's like, well, everybody's killing each other anyways. It's not this utopia that you made it out to be, H.G. Wells. It's everybody's still there's still murder and violence and sex crazed people everywhere, and it's not this peaceful utopia you want it to be. And but it was refreshing to see Malcolm McDowell not playing a villain, because that's what we're used to seeing him being, like the bad guy or him being like a scumbag. Like he's actually playing this like intelligent dude, playing H.G. Wells, and he's playing the hero for once, and it was cool. And David Warner, is the scumbag in the movie, so it was a lot of fun. I would skirt the line between S and A. I'd probably go like an A+. Like I really, really enjoyed it though. I thought it was a lot of fun, especially for a 70s movie. Great pacing, really entertaining. I'd go like a solid A.
Yeah. And for me, this is one of my blind spots. I have not seen it, so it's one that I need to add to the list so I can check it out. So maybe we'll have to do we have a show on the channel actually called Blind Spot. So maybe we could do an episode of one of these days. But yeah, so I'm gonna refrain. So we'll throw it to Andres. Have you seen it?
Yes, and I absolutely love this movie. It's fantastic. It's, again, Malcolm McDowell, more primarily known for all the sinister roles that he plays more than anything else. But again, like it's one of those things where you take a comedian, you tweak him to one level, he can be really dark. You take someone that's really dark and you tweak him over to a level where it's comedy. There's like small little moments here and there that like you just can't help but just like feel the charisma from Malcolm McDowell, where he, when one of my favorite scenes is when him and Mary Steenburgen are both in the revolving restaurant, and this is also just one of those movies where the relationship between Mary Steenburgen and Malcolm McDowell is what carries this for me, and it's the heart and soul of the movie. And this is actually where they first met before they went off and got married, actually in real life. So you could feel that connection between them, and it's adorable to watch on screen, and it's just so much fun. And again, David Warner playing Jack the Ripper in modern day, it's freaking fantastic. So yeah, so many small moments here and there. For me, it's absolutely an S rank. I mean, A rank movie for me.
Okay. Yeah, Vanessa.
Sorry, I was about to say for me it would go in between Happy Death Day and Butterfly Effect for me personally.
Yeah, probably around there.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. What do you think, Vanessa?
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
Although he's talked enough about it, it feels like I've seen it. So
They spawned a television series more recently. I think it got canceled, but they spawned an updated.
It got canceled like halfway through the first season, something like that. Yeah,
and I get it. I get it. The story is sound, just in terms of what it is. H.G. Wells going to fight Jack the Ripper in the future, which is great. Present day for us. It's like the Terminator, except you've got H.G. Wells and Jack the Ripper. So it's
historical figures instead.
Of course, yeah, and it's Malcolm McDowell, who, I mean, he's already iconic just as an actor. And then David Warner, the one that isn't as known, just in terms of people who know who he is, but have seen him in a lot of things. So, and it's great. We got a Titanic poster right here. We got a big old headshot
Time
of
Bandits too.
Lovejoy. Yeah, Lovejoy.
Yeah.
But it's he's in Time Bandits as well, and he's in Tron as well. So he's been around for a long time. He's been in a lot of things. Scream 2, everything like the little mundane stuff, all the way to the big stuff. David Warner's been there. But yeah, so this one, I growing up, man, I remember watching it. I had no clue what it was called, and I never saw it again. It's just one of those things that came on TV. I didn't catch the name, and I didn't have a TV guide, so how am I supposed to know what it was? And then eventually one time it popped up again, and, I sunk my teeth into it a little bit more. We're like, wait. Oh, dang, that's the guy who was in, the Clockwork Orange, and I'm like trying to connect him to other things. And then eventually when I watch it again, I'm an adult, and I'm like, what was that movie? It was about time, H.G. Wells, or Jack the Ripper. Find out their time. That's what it was. Because of that, I would put it in the B column. Like, I enjoyed it. I need to revisit it for sure. But because I couldn't, damn it, I'll give it a low A.
Robert Meyer Burnett's a big fan of this movie. I've heard
it made an impact enough for me to remember it.
Yeah. Jen?
Nice. Yeah, Jen.
Yeah, I'm completely unfamiliar with this film. This is the first time hearing of it, but it sounds awesome. I'm really excited to watch it now because it sounds like a really cool premise, and I like all this cast. So yeah,
like Time Bandits, it's on HBO Max right now. You can go watch it. It's great.
On my watch list now.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. HBO Max.
Add it to the list.
Isn't HBO Max so awesome, guys?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
HBO, give us money.
They did already.
Give us more money.
I know, right? HBO.
Well, sounds like it's gonna be an A tier.
It's just looking at
right?
like the kind of the bottom of A tier under, because we only had 3 votes for it. It was just 2 A's and B's, so kind of probably the bottom of A tier right now. But yeah, I wanted to shout it out. It's pretty good. It's a lot of fun. Check it out.
Yeah. Well, if we're kind of shooting for more of an S tier, I want to go for my favorite Star Trek movie of all time. I got to go Star Trek First Contact, if I can find it on here.
It's a good one.
It's somewhere. If any, oh, here we go.
It's a good one.
So, yeah. So, I just love this movie so much. I remember I saw it in theaters when it came out, and then I waited a couple of years, and for some reason I could not find it to actually own it on DVD. Like back in the day, like now I could have just ordered it online pretty much anywhere. But like back in the day, I had a harder time tracking it down, but I eventually did. And yeah, this movie is just awesome. Just going back to when they invented the warp drive and having James Cromwell in there, Farmer Hoggett from Babe, So like it was a lot of fun playing the grumpy old guy that just didn't want to do what he was supposed to do for all of history, and then seeing how they involved the Borg in that, just like seeing all the inside of the Borg ship was really awesome. And I just like them just going back to Earth, like even some of the things with Data trying, Data and Geordi LaForge too. They're both trying to interact with the humans, and one scene he was I got to take a leak, and then Geordi's like, I'm not detecting any leaks or something So yeah, that gave me a little chuckle. So yeah, but yeah, this is the S tier movie for me. I would probably put it. This one's tough. I would actually put it slightly above Terminator, but not above Bill and Ted for me. That's where it would land for me personally. But we'll see what you guys think. Andres?
Yeah, this for me, the Star Trek films that were my gateway into Star Trek were the Next Generation. So this movie definitely does have a special place in my heart for also introducing us to the Borg as well too. Just how creepy and how just like that techno virus type of character, and for some reason just what's his name, Worf. Yeah, Worf. Yeah. For some reason, Worf just constantly saying, "Well, today is a good day to die." Just always.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Fantastic. But again, resistance is futile with this one. For me, I really enjoy it a lot. It would probably fall more A for me more than anything else. Either probably a low A for myself, I would say.
Yeah. Vanessa? What do you think?
Again, another movie I've never seen.
Oh, man.
it's always on. I'm always watching it. I feel like I'm constantly
I
You're
watching
see.
picking all the
it.
ones you haven't seen.
What's the one? Damn. I see. I get
Not
them
a good
confused.
sign.
I get them confused.
Not a good
What's
sign.
the one with
William Shatner?
Yes.
Generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also Malcolm
Generation,
McDowell.
yeah.
Yes, that one.
Generation, yeah.
I like that one, but I've never
Malcolm
seen
McDowell,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, First
Well,
Contact.
Robert?
I do think First Contact would be more so A than S, just in terms of time travel movies. Yes, it does some great things in the world of Star Trek Next Generation, of course, with the Borg, connecting it to the storyline, the arc that's going on with Picard and the Borg, getting Zephram Cochrane as well, getting James Cromwell in there and having him be so important, but he doesn't want what's thrust upon him in terms of his destiny, and seeing, Geordie LaForge freaking fangirl over him. So
Is this the
Yeah.
one where they have to go to him and then
Yeah.
they're like, "You need to build this"? He's like, "What are you talking about? I don't know how to build that. Is that it?"
right, yeah, because
Oh,
he's got to
yeah.
do. He's
So
got
I
to.
kind of know.
They got to
it.
hit warp to be able to make first contact with the ship that's flying by, and the Borg are there to kind of mess everything up. But
Yeah.
it's great Next Generation movie. I really love Generations and this movie. Then I kind of go when it comes to the next two. So it's these two that I
That's about
watch
right.
over and over consistently. But yeah, I would put it in an A, but definitely A after Butterfly Effect.
Yeah. Sounds good. Jen, what do you think?
So this is why I didn't play in the Inner Geekdom division this year. I have not seen any of like the new school Star Trek movies. I got to Generations literally when they jumped to Next Generation, and I paused it, and it literally got removed from the service, and I never finished it, and I haven't moved on from there because I have to watch them in order. So I'm going to watch it. If you said
Paramount
Voyage Home,
Plus.
I'd be like, yeah, but I
You
have
go to
not
Paramount
seen this
Plus.
one yet. So I'm a pass, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Austin?
I'd go S tier for my favorite Star Trek movie for First Contact. I love First Contact, and again, I'm a horror guy, and it's one of the closer things we've gotten to Star Trek horror film. With some of the Borg sequences are actually kind of freaky and scary, and there's people shooting wires into other people, and then there's a sequence where they just open this door and it's like dark in there, and all the lights from the Borg guys just start lighting up, and it's kind of scary. It's good stuff. I will say, if we're talking about time travel, it's one of the lazier time travel movies out there, because the conceit is just like they just open this portal and like they start going, and they're just like, what is he doing, Data? And it's like, oh, it's a temporal vortex, time travel. Well, let's follow them. And it's just and like that's it. It's just like and, there's like no thought given to it like at all. It's just like a conceit that kind of comes out of nowhere. But regardless of that, the team with Zephyr Cochrane's a lot of fun, and then you've got the kind of horror stuff on the ships. There's two different movies going on, but they're both pretty fun. I'd go S level for it, but it'd be like a low S. Be under the Terminator movies, under Back to the Future, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, we got 2 S's and 2 A's, so like, where do we think that it lies?
It's like right on the border, so it'd be like
so maybe like a low S, maybe, or like a high A.
Well, it'd be like high A, because usually we need at least 3 S's for it to be solidly in the S tier. And then otherwise, but it might get bumped up depending on what we got left over. So we'll see. There's potential for it. We'll see.
But then you got to ask yourself the question: is it better than Back to the Future Part 2 and 3?
That's the other question.
True. Yeah, that is a good question.
We'll argue that later.
We'll have to argue that later.
But yeah, we'll have to argue it. But so I don't know if we want to go one more regular round and then go to our.
Well, here's what we can do. We do like a Hail Mary thing where we just kind of shout out a few movies kind of near the end. We go around the horn and shout out a few things. But we can do one more regular round, but we kind of got to make it quick, like maybe like 30 seconds a piece, you know what I mean? Instead of like a minute, and we can get through another quick round, and then we'll do our Hail Mary shout outs at the end. So is that fair enough for everybody? So it's got to be a little bit quicker, but you're really probably shooting for that top 10 or the honorable mentions is what we're probably going to go for. So Andres, we'll go back to you.
Yeah.
And shoot for the moon, man. What do you got?
Yeah, you got any more you want to talk about?
If I'm going to shoot for the moon, I'm going to go Terminator 2.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Sitting there, like,
I would not forgive myself if I did not shoot for the moon on Terminator 2. For every single reason, I love Terminator 1.
Right,
Terminator 2 is one of those rare sequels that outdoes the original in almost every capacity and actually gets you to cry when a cyborg is about to sacrifice himself. I just watched this in 35 millimeter about a month ago. Gorgeous print.
Ooh.
And literally that entire theater is just in tears. And it's also just one of the most perfectly paced action films and gives us probably one of the more unique villains in the T-1000. And then also the effects in this are amazing. And it's not amazing in terms of like, oh, look what they did way back when in the day. They did all this on Photoshop way back when.
Right.
and the other thing
Crazy.
too is that there's small little hints here and there that sort of takes it above just in effect. Like the moment where the T-1000 is going through the bars and the wire, and then the gun gets caught up in the bars. It's small little touches here and there. This is Cameron's masterpiece, unabashedly my favorite movie of all time. If Terminator 2 did not exist, Terminator 1 would be my all-time favorite. T2 is hands down my favorite movie ever. So there you go.
Well, since it was your pick, we'll put it here tentatively, and we'll see what the group thinks.
No. As much as I love it, and in the spirit of the time travel stuff, I would say Back to the Future would be better.
Yeah. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Here, we'll do that.
There you go.
But Vanessa, you've at least seen the T2, right?
I've seen this one. I've seen this multiple
Yes.
times. I love this movie. I love the action in it. I love everything about it. I think that Robert Patrick does a phenomenal job as being, he is such a menacing villain, like to the point where for a good like year or two that I could not see him as anyone else. I'm like, he really is a robot. Like he's not an actor. Like this was actually still like that's not acting from him. But I love the music for this one too. I think that the music is great in this one. And then of course, Arnold. You gotta love Arnold in this movie too.
Yep.
And it's so hard, like I can't compare it to the first one because I've never seen the first one. So just kind of going off of this one and then seeing the third one, and then of course the newer
The
one,
4th, 5th, 6th.
the newer one. So I guess we can count Salvation in there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one I really, really enjoyed to the point where like, I go back to it and watch it. Like it's one of those like really good, like when you're thinking of action movies, you think of Terminator 2, Judgment Day, especially seeing like Linda Hamilton just being a freaking badass and like lifting herself up and getting like super ripped and stuff. I was like, dang girl, like it was so like I love that.
Even more buff for this movie, yeah.
And also you have to think about the fact that if the Terminator and John did not show up at the hospital, she would have still escaped.
She was good.
Still got away. She's
right
incredible in this movie.
If anything, they made it harder because they brought the T-1000 with them.
It's true. It's very true.
Yes.
They should have just waited for her outside the gate. They would have just met up with her and they could have just driven off.
I know,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That wouldn't make for a fun movie. Come on. But
Robert?
well, yeah, Robert, what do you think?
I mean, it's T2, man. Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Remember the trailer?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much you can just say about it. It's like Back to the Future. You can talk forever about Terminator 2, but when it comes down to it, I mean, it's a pinnacle of it's prime. Again, we talk about prime directors and prime actors, and this was prime, James, and it's prime Arnold.
Yeah.
And prime Hamilton and prime Patrick, and it's like everything.
Definitely
prime Furlong, of course. Even prime Butnick, who was his friend at the arcade. It's prime on.
And
all
he ain't
levels.
no snitch.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it definitely deserves to be up where it is because of the quality that they gave us with that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Jen?
Oh man, since we're pressed for time, I'll just say ditto to everything that's been said. But yeah, like I said while we were talking about Terminator, I already was trying to talk about Terminator 2 because I think it really, because we're specifically talking about time travel movies today, like this is the one that it took the concept from the first one and really delved into it and expanded the complexities of what it means to have someone coming from the future to the past, and what does that mean, like ripple effect of what's going to go happen later on and stuff. So it's just like it's really cool to think about and to see it play out in arguably the best action movie of all time. So yeah, it's fantastic. It's definitely Arnold's best work, arguably Cameron's best work. Linda Hamilton, like Sarah Connor, is one of my favorite female characters of all time. I've been on shows and said she is the best one. So yeah, definitely easily a top 3 of our tier today. So S tier all the way.
All right.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah,
Thanks.
ditto to everything. I'll just shout out some of the awesome vehicle stunt work in that movie, which is some of my favorite of all time. The spot where he drives the 18-wheeler off the bridge into the ditch thing is nuts and bonkers. And then it's not even best thing because then you get to the end with the dude who drives that helicopter at the end is amazing because he's going through a tunnel or under the overpass. Then he's doing that last second up and over the overpass, like super light. Like that guy's amazing. Like whoever that pilot was awesome. Like all that stuff is great to see. Like it's the best of computer effects mixed with amazing practical stunt work and effects, and it's all stuff I love and appreciate. Yeah, just because I prefer the original one with its horror elements over the second one doesn't mean I dislike the second one any at all. Like I love Terminator 2. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a clever way to bring back Arnold, right? To bring him back and make him
it was a
good.
clever way.
It's brilliant. Holy crap.
It'll be interesting going back and seeing him as like the bad guy because now like I only know him from T2. So when I watch it, I'm like,
the only thing you have to go off of is Linda Hamilton's face when she first sees him. Like she has to sell you on what he was before, and she does. But now you get to go witness it.
It's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She was terrified of him when she was
He'll kill us all. He'll kill us all.
After seeing everything that they went through to kill that first one,
Like, no.
And he shows up with the helping hand. Yeah, he shows up with the helping hand.
Yeah. Oh man, and it's gonna play so much better when you actually hear the "Come with me if you want to live." It's oh god.
I wish you could erase your memory of T2 now. We do both of them.
Right.
Wait, Vanessa, real quick. One question: have you seen Genesis?
Oh man.
Terminator. Yes, I've seen Genesis. Yeah,
but no one retained that information. It's fine. No one remembers what actually happened in Genesis because as a community, we should all just forget it. So it's fine.
Yes, we should forget it. But yes, I've seen it.
Hey man, I saw Genesis and Terminator. They're very different. There's nothing there that's the same. Unfortunately,
I think they took more elements.
They didn't try too hard.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it, but I forget it.
It's a shame.
I forget that it was there. And I was like.
Okay.
There was a Jen.
Erase it from your memory.
Jenny Smith. Like I had to
Jenny
say
Smith.
John Schnapp.
Yep, right. but
Jordan.
But yeah, like I don't know what more can be said that hasn't already been said. I'll just keep it short. But like even last time I was talking about the first Terminator, like I was even then just like thinking of lines from T2 because like I just love just making him more human. All the little slang lines that we get hasta la vista, baby. We get like chill out, dickwad. We get no problemo. We get like all that stuff. So like that's a lot of fun and like like it just takes the first movie and just amps it up to a whole nother level. So yeah, it's just awesome. So yeah, S tier all the way. I'm down with the S tier. So
what else we got?
Yeah.
All right,
Vanessa, what do you got?
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Final pick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, final regular round pick, and then we'll do our quick Hail Marys. Yes.
Yeah, what's the one that's going to be the go-to, the must-have?
Yeah.
I already know one. I think I got one. There's one that I would like, but
there's one I'm looking at right now.
Oh my gosh.
Don't take it.
I'm gonna
Don't take it.
I'm gonna say Harry Potter.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm gonna put that in the A tier. I love this movie. I love the book is my favorite of the books too.
Yeah, the book's so good.
I put it in A tier, like at the top. Yeah, at the very top there. It's like a very high A because I just love the elements like of the time travel that they do in the story. Like these are witches and wizards that can do magic, but yet they have like these like contraptions that they can do to do time travel. Like it's so unique to me, like to think that they do. Like you figured like they would have like a spell that they can use, but no, like they have to use like this time turner, and they've got rules about using like this, and the fact that it's Hermione that is the one that's like, I can do this because I'm smart, and that's how she gets to all of her classes. I'm like, I wish I could do that. You know, I wish I had more time in the day to do stuff. So why not have a time turner to have like some of me do something else while I was doing something else that same very moment. Like, it's great.
Oh, it was clever as hell.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
as soon as that time travel showed up in that damn movie, I was like, oh my God, you just kicked it up a notch. Like, this is a Harry
Yeah.
Potter movie, but now it's a time travel movie. And then the stuff that happened already, we get resolved because we find out we're actually doing the things that happened to us before when we went through. Like, it was incredible. So, yeah, I'd agree with your placement in A.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think it's better than Back to the Future, though. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You're
Right,
right.
right.
I would, but
Awesome.
I wouldn't think like I would put it before Star Trek, but I would put it behind Back to the Future.
Yeah. So probably in the end, I mean, we'll debate it in a little bit, but we'll end up doing like that. So, but
That seems about right.
yeah, but Jen, what do you think?
Yeah, like no, I love Harry Potter. This isn't my personal favorite, but I know it is for a lot of people across the boards for both book and movie. Like this was kind of the turning point for the movie franchise of like giving the universe a little bit more expansion, a little more real world kind of stakes to it. But it's fascinating because of the things we've talked about today, this is a franchise that is not used to doing time travel, yet they did it really, really well in this one instance. So yeah, for that reason, it's fantastic. I would say it's an A, just because it is not the entire basis of the plot, but it is a huge part of the climax. So yeah, A.
Jen,
Yeah.
what is your favorite?
For both, it is Order of the Phoenix, which I know is very controversial in terms of the movies. I know there's a lot of things they left out on the table, but yeah, it's still my favorite just because I love freaking Umbridge and the whole character of that. So,
Oh yeah.
Stop telling
Yep.
lies, Jen.
Yeah.
Half-Blood
Tell
Prince.
lies.
See,
Stop
okay.
telling lies.
Half-Blood Prince book.
Half-Blood Prince book, yes, and the book for
Goblet of
Prisoner.
Fire
Both
movie.
of those two are my favorite
Yes.
books, like out of all of them. But
Goblet of Fire. That's my favorite.
I actually really like Half-Blood Prince the movie more.
It's very
All of those
stylistic
two.
of all the things. It's the one that took its time the most. So I really do like that one because the cinematography is gorgeous. So yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to your Harry
But,
Potter.
I mean, there
tier
are
ranking.
a lot of things.
Yeah. Right.
I know, right? There's a lot of things missing
Just rank
from
them all for the next
Half-Blood
hour.
Prince that I
Yeah.
wish they added into the movie.
Sure.
But it is still my favorite movie out of all of them. But yeah, anyways, keep going. We can talk about Harry Potter all day.
We're just in time to have Malcolm join us. He's like one of the biggest diehard Harry Potter fans in this community. So yeah, he came just in time, Malcolm. But
Spy Who
Austin,
Shagged Me should be S tier.
I-
Malcolm. I
yeah.
agree. It's a good one. Maybe I'll pick it.
What do you think of this?
I don't know if I should vote. Like, I'm not a Harry Potter fan. Like, all these movies are like C-level movies for me. Like, they bore the shit out of me. But like,
That's how I
so
feel
I don't know
about
if I
Lord of
should
the
vote
Rings.
because like I would put like every Harry Potter movie in like the C tier, but because they're all just like they're interesting. There's good actors. I like seeing all the British character actors pop up, but like
I mean, Robert
I
tried to
don't- I
tank
don't-
Edge of Tomorrow, and it's
but, like-
fine. You can go ahead.
Yeah, right.
Because I
but,
think
like,
you guys have
but
put
it's
it
like-
too high.
Yeah.
But you know what sucks, Jen, is like I have to do a movie battleground match coming up, and I won't give away what the question is, but like one of them's a Harry Potter round because it's the other guy's strength, and I'm just like, oh,
So that's just
F
a pass.
me.
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, just give him the point. I don't care. Like,
Yeah, right.
like I forgot this one had time travel. I forget which one this is. Like, I know
One
it's
with
the
the werewolf.
Alfonso Cuarón one. It's the
Yeah,
Alfonso
one with the
Cuarón
werewolf.
one. I know it's that one.
Uh,
But
Yeah.
it's like
Expect
they're all
open
C's.
turn.
C. I don't know.
Perfect.
Whatever. C.
I wonder how
Where it
you
gets
feel about the
serious.
Fantastic Beast movies. Like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, those
yeah.
are worse.
and
Those are worse.
They're way worse. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, for me, like I'm a diehard Harry Potter fan when it comes to all the books. Like, I'm one of those guys that was at all the midnight premieres for the actual books. So like that was a lot of fun doing that because what books get a midnight premiere besides Harry Potter, But
Twilight.
yeah, Twilight, and then maybe one of the only
I was
other
there
ones.
for those too.
Nice. but yeah, but I think that that's perfect right where it's at. Like I think these are solid AA level movies, and except for the two that I would put in that tier, I would put the Goblet of Fire and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Those are my two favorites. So, but all other Harry Potter kind of are like A level for me. So I think it's perfect right where it is. So I'll leave it there.
there we
Well,
go.
according to my chart,
Andre?
it's lower than Star Trek and Edge of Tomorrow.
Wait.
All right.
What about Andre?
It
Did you?
happens.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You know what?
Did you get to talk about it, or was it your pick? I forget who actually picked
It
it.
was Vanessa's.
I picked
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Andre?
I actually really love Prisoner of Azkaban quite a bit, so I'd be comfortable leaving it in the A rank. You know, it's you know what, I'm not opposed to where it's at right now. No, because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan as well. Also, by the way,
sorry not to cover you up.
Yeah,
but it makes sense.
I really like 2 to 5. 1 is decent. The last 3 are meh. As Harry Potter.
Man. Yeah, right.
No, I'm kidding. No, I love Goblet of Fire. Goblet of Fire is my favorite one. Book, I absolutely love 7. So there's that. Yeah, A rank, totally fine. Love it right there. Love Buckbeak. What was one of the most heartbreaking things where you're like, wait, he actually dies? But yeah. Without giving too many spoilers. Sorry, guys. But anyway, yeah.
I think you're okay.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's probably going to stay right where it is, unless Austin's grade drags it down a bit. But I think it's fair in the A. You know. So.
Well, it's fair in the A. It's just more of the minuscule rankings with the votes I have. That we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Robert, what do you got for your last pick?
Yeah, I figure because the shock that I got during the Prisoner of Azkaban, where I was like, "Oh, dang, you're doing time travel," I'd say Avengers Endgame. Well, I was like, when they're like, "We're doing time travel," I'm like, "What? You guys are going to do time travel?"
Yeah.
And it was some high stakes time travel too. You know, it was a big, huge part of the movie, and may have effect on what's going to happen with the series. So yeah, I was blown away, very satisfied, very happy. A couple missteps in terms of consistency for a couple aspects of the time travel, but again, we give so many passes for other time travel movies to where things fall apart, so you can't really hold it too high.
True, but it still happens, and then you get into like a whirlwind of time travel, and then you're like, my head is spinning.
That's time travel, baby. And
Avengers Back to the Future,
I would say shoot, would I put it as a pinnacle? I don't know. Yeah, I don't feel like it would be a pinnacle, but I do feel with what I felt and how many times I watched it and the excitement I get watching it is better than the Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So I would put it.
So would you put it at the top of
A? Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Jen, what do you think?
Granted,
I'm going to lose a little nerd cred here. I'm not a big fan of Endgame. I think I've only seen it the one time. So clearly it's not rewatchable in my mind. I think I have something against it because of the reason of when they pose the idea of time travel and they start trying to analyze it a little bit and going like, oh, so it's like Back to the Future. I go, no, it's not like Back to the Future. Shut up, kind of thing. So whenever a movie tells me to shut up and not think too hard about it, I take it against it a little bit. So I was a little upset with that. Having said that, like there's a lot of great moments in this film, but as a whole, it's not something that I have gone back and revisited because I love the MCU, but this is one that it's just there's so much going on that it is a monumental task to like have all these characters get a moment and still have a plot that makes sense and goes forward and fits in the world and everything, but it doesn't quite hit for me the way that others have. So for that reason, it's a B for me, but I totally understand. I need to see it again, clearly, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, Austin, what do you think?
This is no secret to anybody on this panel. Avengers Endgame is so overrated. No. That movie is not that good. It's
you must not have watched it with
way
friends.
Better.
Yeah.
I only saw it with full theaters twice. Yeah, I saw it by myself.
You just sitting there while everybody else is going crazy. Like,
no, because it's kind of like Jen said. Like it's so lazily done. It's like, hey Tony, go home and invent. No, it is because it's like, hey Tony, go home and figure out time travel in an hour, and he does. Like, get out of here! Come on, like, is that really like how we figured it out? Is like Tony plays around with his hologram and figures it out in an hour? Like, get out of here! Like, that's lazy. It's really lazy.
That's what he did to figure out his costume in the first movie. It's
I know it's his costume.
How does he do it in Back to the Future? The flux capacitor. What is it? I don't know. I just have it.
No, he's been working
He
on
hit
it
his
for
head on
30
the toilet
years.
and he
He
has an
doesn't.
idea.
He doesn't work on
He hit
it
his
for.
head on the
He doesn't
toilet.
work on it for an hour. He doesn't work on it for an hour. He works on it for 30 years. There's a big
Tony
difference.
Stark.
Yeah.
And making a metal suit is different than figuring out time-space continuums. Come on,
In a
get
cave
out of
with
here.
a bunch of
Yeah.
He's an engineer.
Look, I also don't like what it does to Thor. Like, he's awesome in Infinity War. They turn him into a joke. Like, I hate that stuff. I don't like the Hulk in that movie. The Hulk is stupid. Like, I just think the movie is like, it's not rewatchable, man. Like, I think Infinity War is like way better. Thanos is much better in Infinity War. Like, they totally kill all the hype he had in Endgame. He's like back to just being a nothing villain. I'm sorry, it's like a B level too. It's got moments, but I just think it's way overrated. Just to me personally.
Understandable. I can see it. I do like Infinity War more.
I like it more. Way more.
Well, for me, I do not think it's overrated. I think that it's awesome. I saw it 3 times in theaters. Like, I thought that it was great. Like when I go see movies, I just have to turn my brain off and just roll with it. Like when I go to see like a Jurassic Park movie, I'm not going for like logic and reason. I'm going to watch people get their heads ripped off by freaking dinosaurs. It's like the same thing. Like, I'm just going to watch these superheroes just duke it out, and if it has a great story, then that's a plus for me. But I'm still going to love these movies regardless if it has great writing or anything like that, or even great dialogue. Like, I love seeing all the effects, seeing all my favorite superheroes together on screen. They do time travel. They do it kind of wonky, but I mean, I still think that it's fun seeing Captain America go back and like have little glimpses with Peggy Carter, seeing Tony go back and meet his dad. Like, a lot of that's was a lot of fun to me. So yeah, like I would put it in the S tier. I would probably put it. It was tough for me. I put it mid S tier, just right in the middle. So yeah. That's me, but Andres, what do you think?
Well, I've got my nerd card here, and I'm just going to hand it over to you guys and just say, I agree with Jen. Here's the thing: there was so much hype going into this movie, and when you finally realize that the whole entire plot, in terms of trying to fix everything, involves time travel, I kind of felt like. It felt like a greatest hits version of everything we've seen in the MCU. It felt like Back to the Future Part 2.
I love Back to the Future Part 2.
I didn't like it.
It's my favorite one. Come on.
But here's the thing. When
Back to the Future 2 does it better.
I would agree that it kind of does do it better. But here's the thing is that like, it is a movie that has a really great first act. When they kill Thanos and you're like, where the hell are they going to go with it? But having seen it many times, that second half of the movie kind of drags for me. After the first time, it flew for me the first time. And then the second and third time, it really drags after a little bit. And it is redeemed by an amazing third act. So all the positives that I have to say about it don't involve the time travel. It all involves just some of the more classic elements that we have of the MCU. But for me, the time travel is also not particularly, not well done, which, you can give it a pass for. But this is, to me, one of those first movies that when I heard that that time travel was going to be used as a main device in the film, I felt disappointed. I felt like, oh man, okay, we're gonna go back in time. All right. Like when Thanos uses the time stone on Vision, that was a shocking moment. Unfortunately, Endgame for me is just a high B, but that's pretty much about it. I've seen it many times, but I like Infinity War a lot better.
I popped the cherry when they introduced time travel. I was so bombastically happy. Like, we're going to time travel. Let's do it. Let's get crazy with it. But at that point, honestly, I didn't really care too much about the MCU. Like, it was that string of movies leading up to that moment that I actually cared about the MCU, because everything to me was garbage after the first round of movies. And then eventually, like, even Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, oh my God, like, I get it, James Gunn, but your movies that you did before were way better. And then with Guardians of the Galaxy, I saw it. I thought it was overhyped. I thought everybody was the way you guys are seeing it, where it's like, I respect it, but at the same time, there's things about it that I feel like is just a softer version of what James Gunn has done before.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this one, like, I don't know what it was, the little mini trajectory that we went on with Ragnarok, leading into Infinity War and all this. I was just like, oh God, give me more Marvel. So I don't know what it was. It was weird how it twisted me into excited again versus others were like, oh, you guys went time travel. But for me, it was like, I'm sold 3 times in 1 weekend. But I get it. You know, it's just how you perceived it because everybody was probably loving it. You know, Marvel, what they were doing right before that. I don't know. People love Iron Man 3 for some reason.
I've actually never seen Endgame.
Oh, you never seen it?
Oh, wait, what?
Okay,
No,
I was gonna say
no,
what?
I saw it 5 times in theaters.
Okay.
So no, yes, I've seen Endgame.
You're killing her. You're killing her.
I know. I would give it a high B. Because,
High B.
Yeah,
No, high B is not a bad score either.
It's not a bad score.
Because
it's just,
and it's something with
It was on the level of
Andre
frequency.
said
Come on, it's better
well,
than
something
frequency.
that Andre said
pretty
about
much.
it was the fact that
No, not even close.
there are certain things that happen with the time travel, and yes, we do give it a pass to some other movies, but like it just irks me in this movie in some ways because of certain characters too, and the development of these characters, and they kind of backtrack a little bit with some of them with their character development. I'm like, oh, why did you do that? Like that's why it just doesn't work for me in those moments. But like, I mean, other than that, like it was a great pop. Like I loved going to the theater to watch it. Like it was so much fun and like so exciting to see, you know, like all of these characters come together in this one monumental like moment that you've only really dreamed about or read about it in the comics, and then you finally got to see it on the big screen. Was like, hell yeah. But yeah, I'd give it. Portal is so good though. It's true. Yeah. Okay, the music is great too. Alan Silvestri, he did a really good job with the music to Endgame. But I do like Infinity War way more. So yeah, it's
all right.
Knock it down.
So where are we at with it?
I think it's a B. An S, an A, and 4 B's. That's a lot of B's.
So it's probably at the top of B. It's definitely
right above frequency.
I'm not going to put it below that, but yeah, I refuse to do that. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, Robert. I enjoyed it.
It's nice.
You're fake fans because you don't
I saw it 5 times in theaters. I really liked it. It's just as far as element time travel goes.
Yeah, we're talking time travel. We're not talking movies. We're talking about time travel movies. And the time travel aspect is the weakest part of the film. So
how did Bill and Ted trigger a trash can to fall on their dad's head in the middle of a police station exactly when they needed it to?
Yeah, right.
Because the fate of the world was in their hands, Robert.
Take liberties. Yeah, right.
That one was fine, but it's just like they can't do Captain America that way for me. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Jen, you got one last one.
Oh man, okay, I'm gonna get a little classy here. I'm gonna go for a foreign film. I'm gonna go for Run Lola Run, aka Yellow Card's Ocean Avenue video.
Let's go, Jen.
All right.
Let's go, Jen.
Yes.
Let's go, Jen. She took my pick again. Damn it!
I was between this and Time Bandits. I really wanted to make sure that both of them got
Yellow Card. That's where I've seen it.
Yes, Yellow Card totally ripped this off, and I'm glad they did because that made people actually go and watch it. So, this is a German film. It's fantastic. It's another technically one of the time loop kind of genre films, but I really like how this one really shows the effects of time travel in the way that it ripple effects to the people around her. Mm-hmm. Like multiple times, you'll see like she's going through her day trying to solve all these problems, but she keeps running into like these like ancillary characters, and you get these little snippets each time that she goes through the timeline of like what happens because she just like looked at them funny. So it's like a really cool idea that like whatever you do affects so many people around you that you're not aware that you have that big of an effect on people. So it's just a cool idea because like sometimes you're like, am I really that important? And it's like, yeah, you kind of are. So it's a really fun movie. It's got a really good soundtrack, and the Yellow Card is great too. So I would say this is an S tier for me. It's really cool. I highly recommend it. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out.
Yeah. Austin, what do you think? for
I fucking love Run Lola Run. Run Lola Run's awesome. I have it on Blu-ray. It's great. It makes you want to go out and just like run down the street. Like it's great because you just like thump, thump, thump,
Yeah, the
thump,
level of
thump,
cardio
thump,
in this
thump,
film is off the
thump,
charts.
thump,
Yeah.
thump, 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 thump. Yeah, and it's kind of what it sounds like. Like a lot of the movie is her running because like it's her trying to catch up with her boyfriend who's in trouble with some guys and they're gonna kill him if he doesn't get this money in time. Yeah. And but like she said, it kind of runs through the same scenario a couple of times in this sort of time loop. But yeah, like it's just cool how everything kind of wraps up near the end. I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it because it's still kind of underseen. But yeah, Run is like super fun. It breezes by. It's like 80 minutes. It's perfect. It's a couple of these scenarios before you know it, it's over. But in a good way. Like it just moves like a music video. It's so much fun. It's really rewatchable. Like I love Run. I go S tier all the way. I think it's a really unique, fun foreign time. I think we need some foreign representation in this list. Absolutely, yeah. I'm all for it.
Oh yeah,
I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, for me, I never even heard of Run Lola Run until we started putting this list together. I was like, "What is this movie?" But I recognized the actress and like the face and the whole yellow card. I kind of put two and two together because I'm a diehard Yellow Card fan. I've actually so it's a little spoiler for our upcoming next Tuesday. We're doing our favorite bands of all time. That's going to be one of them. So because I've seen them 5 times in concert. And I've actually gotten to hang out with them because when they came to Idaho, one of my friends actually knows them, so they stayed at his house. So we got to freaking hang out with them. So that was cool. So yeah, but I haven't seen Lola Run, so I can't really comment on it. But it's definitely one that I want to check out after you guys hype it up like that. So yeah, Andres.
Yeah, Run Lola Run ran all the way up to the S tier for me the first time I saw it. So yeah, no, I absolutely love this movie.
Yeah.
Without going too much into it, it's fantastic. If you have not seen it, there is a reason why the Wachowskis automatically wanted to work with this director right after they saw this, and there's a reason why Cloud Atlas happened. Watch this movie; it's freaking fantastic. Love it. Yes, and I actually was over on a treadmill over in college, and Run Lola Run was actually on the TV the entire time. So the cardio game was really on par with that. So, yeah, this is fantastic movie. Love it.
Sounds like a movie that'll get you pumped. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, Vanessa, what do you think? Have you seen it?
I have actually never seen it, but I've heard of it. I've heard about it before too, so it's not something that I've not been like, oh, this is interesting. But I have heard of it, and it's definitely going to be on the list to watch for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember the trailer. I remember when the Fifth Element came out. I was like, oh, is that like connected to Run Lola Run?
Very similar look. Yeah.
Right? I never watched it, so now it's on the list, and I'll check it out.
There's random animated sequences too, which is like completely random, but yeah, it's like a great choice. So
yeah, I'll check it out.
Okay, nice. Well, Austin, you're up next, so you got one last.
Oh
pick.
Man, she took my Run, so I got to look real quick. Let's
steal my pick.
Yeah, no.
We'll see.
You know what? I'll go with another one that I think probably deserves S tier. Let's go Looper. Let's go Looper. Let's go a little Bruce Willis and a little Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Stole my pick. That was going to be my pick.
Oh man, sorry. Well, it's probably because it deserves to be talking. Well, I mean, I was going to say, what if a kid was in King Arthur's court? I mean, I really always wondered. But no, I'll go Looper. Yeah, Looper is it was one of those things that kind of again sort of came out of nowhere. With Rian Johnson, and just a very simple concept. These people getting thrown back into the past and just getting shot immediately. I mean, it really hits you in the gut. I mean, literally, the concept of it, but these people getting paid to do that, and they get these payouts knowing that they're going to get shot in the future. But it's like, oh, well, let's do what we got to do. And, this movie also, it does the time travel, but it also kind of brushes it off too. And Willis is just like, I don't want to talk about time travel shit, like how all this stuff works. but at the same time, like it's still good. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt actually does a great job sort of mimicking Bruce Willis's like mannerism stuff, like the way he just kind of does that little Cockney stare, that he does, and kind of that little squinty eye thing that Bruce Willis does. Jeff Daniels is great in the movie as the guy who kind of runs the place. Like, I think it's really, really fun, and it deserves to be up in the S tier. I think it's really, really solid.
Yeah, and I would agree too. I think that it belongs in the S tier. Because Ryan Johnson's one of those directors that always surprises me. That like he just comes with these movies kind of out of nowhere. Like whether it be Knives Out or like Brick or like some of those movies that are just awesome. And it's like I really shouldn't be surprised by him anymore because like all those movies are like super solid for the most part. And so yeah, like just the whole idea of like someone going back in time to kill a version of your younger self is a really intriguing concept. And also you got Bruce Willis to actually look like he cared again, so that was cool. So
always good when Bruce Willis cares.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was like a little more than a paycheck for him, but yeah. So I'll just keep it short though. I'll say S tier for Looper. So Andres,
for me, I'd be okay keeping it right there. The movie, I really love all the time travel elements to it. There is one flaw to me that kind of just sticks out like a sore thumb every single time. It is every time I look at Joseph Gordon-Levitt's face, I'm just like, get that shit off his face. You're not selling me that this is going to be Bruce Willis when he's older.
Yeah.
Get that shit off his face. Seriously. All right, Ryan Johnson, you really want me to believe that he's the young version? Just let us imagine it. That's his young self. That's it. But apart from that, I think it's a wonderful time travel movie. Emily Blunt as well too is a badass in this. I mean, come on. She's first introduced with a freaking shotgun. All right, like, come on, you already got me right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, but in terms of just time travel movies, it takes so much from like Terminator, Back to the Future, even to a certain extent. I mean, just so many really great tastes all wrapped in one, and I just really, really dug the hell out of this movie. So yeah, and again, it was the last great Bruce Willis movie, and it's the last time he actually cared. So yeah, absolutely, I'd be okay low S for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Vanessa, what do you think?
It's gonna be a high B for me.
Yeah. All right.
I liked some of the concepts in the story.
Just dragging it down.
Stuff. Like it was interesting, but I don't know. Like Bruce Willis didn't sell me on the movie. Like the only thing that like it puts it in the B tier is because of Emily Blunt. I love Emily Blunt in this movie. But yeah, like the concept is cool. Paul Dano is great in it too. But I don't know. I don't really care. I didn't care too much about like Bruce Willis' character. Like there was no stake in his character at all. Like I just was like, oh, I don't care about your character at all. So that's why it's gonna be B.
Yeah. Robert, what do you think?
I saw it one time, and then I was like, yeah, that was cool. And then I never wanted to go back and watch it again. I'd put it after Retroactive.
Really?
It feels like that kind of movie.
Oh wow!
It feels like that kind of a movie.
Done that far.
I could see somebody having fun with it, but it's not one we're running to when we're like, let's watch a time travel movie.
Yeah, right.
There's all those other movies ahead of it.
Yeah, fair enough. Jen, what do you think?
No, I think I like exactly where it is right now. I think it's a bottom S tier film, particularly because we're talking about time travel movies. The whole crux of this thing is time travel, and it's a really interesting way of approaching it. Like Ryan Johnson did a lot of world building in this. It's a really cool little sci-fi thriller. I do agree that like the makeup on Joseph Gordon-Levitt probably took me out. It took a while to do it, but his mannerisms, like it was just his mannerisms alone were doing like selling it for me. And it was just, it's funny to see because like we keep saying like, oh, Bruce Willis kind of cared in this movie. It's like, yeah, because he just kind of had to be himself, and Joseph had to do all the heavy lifting.
He had to do all the
but yeah, so like, but Joseph and Emily, like they have great chemistry together in this film, and just there's a lot of nice little stylistic elements of it is sci-fi, but there's a lot of realism to it. So I do enjoy the world that Johnson created, and yeah, it's a fun time travel kind of premise. So yeah, I like bottom S tier, but I think it's gonna at least go down to A after those bombs from the late to the party. So
yeah,
it doesn't belong in S.
Yeah.
Oh well, sorry. I will say one last thing real quick before we move on from this one. horrifying elements of time travel, like when the guy when his
starts
fingers are
losing.
disappearing, and like he starts losing his tongue, and his limbs start coming off.
Yeah.
Like
you don't see that in other movies. It's cool.
No, it's great.
Yeah, you guys had to remind me about the makeup. It almost makes you want to bump it down to an A tier because that makeup is just bad. Like I'm debating it, but I think that it's fine at the bottom of S. I wouldn't put it any higher than the bottom of S. So yeah.
Yep.
But so it's down to me, and since you took the one that I was going to pick, I'm gonna kind of pick.
I mean,
one
we could talk about. I mean, we could talk about a kid in King Arthur's court if you want to.
Sure, yeah. Well, actually, I'm gonna go with one that I didn't think I was gonna talk about, but I think I actually will. So I'm gonna go with About Time if I can find it here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's right at the top.
Movie.
Yeah. So About Time, like we gotta have like some kind of love story involving time travel on this thing, and like with About Time, like freaking awesome. It's a movie that like kind of introduced me a little bit to Domhnall Gleeson. Like I was kind of familiar with him a little bit before that, but not on like a major scale that I am now. And just like so many different elements, like the way that the men are able to time travel, and he goes back over and over to try and win Rachel McAdams' heart. And I will say that I'm a huge Rachel McAdams fan. She's one of my favorite actresses. So she definitely brings it up a level for me. And then like the relationship that he has with his father, just going back to spend time with him, and it's like so heartbreaking and just like emotional, and I probably was like one of those guys like trying to hold back the tears, like I was like on the verge, and so but yeah, About Time's great. Like I'm not a huge rom-com fan, but we wouldn't really call it a rom-com. I just call it like a romantic kind of like just romantic time travel movie. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in the S tier. Probably, like I haven't seen Run Lola Run, so I'll probably put it above Looper for me. But I'll leave it there. So.
Oh, where did Looper end up after?
Oh yeah.
It still had four.
It's still there?
Yeah, but it still had way more S votes than anything in the A tier right now. It had 4 S votes, so I think that's still very significant, despite the 2 negative votes. But even then, they weren't negative votes really. But it's got way more S's. Like all the ones in the A tier have like 1 S vote right now. So yeah.
Well, Andres, what do you think of About Time?
Oh goodness, I absolutely love this movie, top to bottom. It's one of those that I was at a test screening for this, and they immediately handed me a card going, "Well, what was your least favorite moment?" Nothing. What was your favorite moment? I just love the entire freaking movie. I love the concept. I mean, again, it's a rom-com that's disguised. It's like. The thing is, we all call this a romantic movie. It's romantic in the sense of like, what would you do if you had the ability to travel through time? You change this one thing, or like you spend a couple of moments with your dad, or you try to win the girl's heart. Like just what Butterfly Effect did in terms of like, oh hey, this small little thing happened and changed everything. It took it in a much more whimsical place, in a place that makes it feel warm. That by the end, when it finally comes down to it, he really doesn't need to go back in time anymore, and you kind of feel like, you know what, it's all over and it's done with, and also you just feel so good at the end of this movie. It's so good. I love it top to bottom. It's great, and I love the concept that they play with. Every time he goes back in time after he has his kid, and if he messes up just like one small thing, the baby looks completely different than what he before. Like again, stuff that you really don't realize, but it's fantastic. I love it. It's my the 2 Rachel McAdams time travel movies. This one hands down is better.
Easily.
Yeah.
So, for me, stays right there where it is perfectly.
Yeah. Well, Vanessa, what do you think?
I really like this movie a lot. I wouldn't say it's S tier. I would put it at the top of A, because I love Rachel McAdams, and just like she just brings like such a fun element to these like romantic stories. Like she like you're always kind of like rooting for her. And then like this is such a sweet movie with time travel added to it. Like even if time travel wasn't even a part of this movie, like it's such a sweet movie on its own. But I mean I love this one and The Time Traveler's Wife. But yeah, I would give it a solid A, top A.
All right, Robert, what do you think?
I've never seen it.
Okay.
General
Well, you
Hudson,
gotta-
Rachel McAdams.
That's
Wasn't there
gotta
one
add it
with
to your
Eric
list then.
Bana?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
your Time Traveler's Wife.
Oh, yeah, that's what you
right.
guys are talking about?
No, we're
Yeah.
watching.
No, you're talking about time.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I saw that other one. It was okay.
Well, the one where he ends up naked everywhere that he
Yeah.
time travels
Yeah,
for
he
some
just
reason.
Pops in every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. But Jen, what do you think?
Oh, I'm so glad you picked this because this was the last one on the list. I was like, I want to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I always, whenever I see the poster for this, I think you're lying to me because they marketed it as a rom-com, and it is. There are romantic comedy elements to it, and the story between them is adorable. However, the thing that really sets this movie apart for me is the father-son relationship of like Donald and Bill Nye. Like they kill me. I cannot watch this movie with like Niagara Falls. Okay, like I
Yeah.
can't. I can't
Niagara
with them.
Falls.
It is so good. Like their relationship is
I'm
so
choked up
strong
kinda
and
thinking
it's
about
so
it.
sweet. And I like that we mentioned butterfly effect because it's like, yeah, these are like complete opposite sides of the spectrum of like everything that happens is horrible or everything that happens is just wonderful. So yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I think I like exactly where it is. It's an S tier movie, but when you think time travel, this is not the first thing that comes to mind, but it definitely counts. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Jen, did you
Yeah.
say Niagara Falls because of Scrooged?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And
I
Niagara
love
Falls,
you.
yeah.
Niagara Falls. I say it all the time.
He does.
Yeah.
I got
Well,
the
Austin?
big list.
It's probably about as good as a romantic time travel movie gets. I'm okay with it being an S. I would put it like a high A, but I'm okay with it being like near the bottom of S tier. Sure, you got to have at least one romance movie that has some time travel in it. I'm okay with that. I know there was a Christopher Reeve movie I was going to watch that I didn't get Somewhere in Time that I didn't get a chance to watch. So I don't know how it compares to that. But as far as like a romantic time travel movie, but sure, why not? I saw it once.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
all right. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, do you want to explain to everyone how the Hail Mary round
Yeah,
works?
so how this Hail Mary round works is we're just going to go around the horn. If you believe that there's any other movies that are still on the list that either belong in like a high A or a S, we're not going to throw them up on the chart just yet. But if you want to mention them, give them some love, I will jot them down. If we have crossover amongst several of the panel, then we'll go back and quickly like rapid fire vote on those, if that makes any sense. But you can mention more than one. You can mention a couple if you got two or three more, so you want to mention
2 or 3,
that you think
4
are really
even,
worth that are like
Maybe
worth that are worth voting on or putting near the top of the chart. Shout them out. I'll jot them down, and we'll see what we got. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So it's kind of how we a quicker way of doing it rather than going around and voting on 20 other movies. We're just gonna shout out some more of your favorites. I'll jot them down. All right.
Yeah.
Hit me, Andres. Any other ones you want to shout out?
Kate and Leopold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really love that one.
Anything else? Or?
Anything else? You can mention a few. You can mention a few. You just mention a few that you really, really like or belong in A or S. Just hit me up with them. If we have enough crossover, with somebody else mentions the same ones, we'll go back and vote on it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So same.
We're just shouting them out. We're not talking about them.
Just shout them out. We're not talking them in depth yet. Just shout them out.
Okay. Definitely Kate and Leopold, Time Cop. I absolutely really did. Can you go up a little more? Or is that literally it?
Yeah, that's
it.
That's all. There's a couple on the.
Oh wow!
On the bottom, there's
Days
a
of
couple
Future
there.
Past.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really
Excellent.
like Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
And one last one. You know what? Let's go Spy Who Shagged Me. I really like that one.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right.
Vanessa, you want to shout out? You got any?
Hot tub
time machine.
Hot tub
Okay.
time machine.
Yeah.
She came over
Alright.
to the hot tub
Yeah.
to wash the arms.
The hot tub. Yeah.
Well, we talked about the lovers on our SNL episode. Jen knows all about that. They made our
lovers.
top
Yeah,
eight.
yeah. The lovers. Yeah.
Oh, lava. I wouldn't put this
gonna-
on the list. I would put this as like a honorable mention, but safety not guaranteed. I love that movie.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah. Anything else? Let's go put that in there.
12 Monkeys.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
And I would go Midnight in Paris.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Robert.
She took my safety not guaranteed. It's charming as hell. Mark Duplass.
Well, she doesn't have to
amazing.
take it. Again, you can mention it because if we have crossover,
Keep saying it.
we'll
Keep
vote
saying
on
we're gonna
it.
get
So-
up there. Go.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, the more you say it, then it'll get up there. Yep.
the more you
Okay,
say it, it'll
safety,
get up
safety
there.
not guaranteed. The Spy Who Shagged Me and what? Hot Tub Time Machine. Hot Tub Time
Yeah.
Machine was great because of the Crispin Glover inclusion,
Yeah.
and you got freaking.
I really want him with that arm.
And you got Sebastian Stan in there.
Yeah, you got
Come on.
Sebastian.
Oh yeah, that is him.
And Daryl.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
And Chevy.
And Chevy. And Clark.
All right.
Screw y'all, the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah.
You can mention it. All right, Jen.
Yeah, curveball up your way. You guys
I thought you were going to go primer, but okay.
Yeah,
No,
the number one that's
So
left here is
pretentious.
safety not guaranteed. Like that's a cute little gem that I did not expect to love as much as I did. But other than that, yeah, Days of Future Past, Voyage Home, Kate and Leopold, and fucking 13 going on 30.
Yeah. That's sure. Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah, I'll second safety getting a vote or putting it up on for consideration. 12 Monkeys as well. I think deserves of at least a vote. Interstellar. And I'm not crazy about anything else, so that's enough. Not
All
over
right.
the moon about anything else. Yeah, everything else is like middle of the road. Like I like Time Cop,
Yeah.
but it's like a B or a C. You know, I like X-Men: Days of Future Past is not my favorite X-Men movie. First Class is better.
It does time
Army
travel
of
better
Darkness
than
is
Endgame
fun.
does, and that's on the list.
Yeah, it sure as hell
Yes.
does. You know, I'm not crazy about anything else. Like Spider Shag Me is fun, but like one of the best time travel movies ever. Nah, get out of here. No,
Well,
no.
I'm going to argue that. I'm going to put Spider Chevy on my list. Let's go.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to second
Sure.
it. Yeah. But let's see what else do it. Don't want to shut. I'll say The Voyage Home for sure.
You know you want to do Hot Tub
That's a
Time
great
Machine.
one.
Yeah. Well, maybe, but well, shout out Safety Not Guaranteed for sure. That one's awesome.
Mhm.
Let's see what else we got on here. I want to shout out Army of Darkness. Like,
It's just the
Put that one on
one-time
there,
jump.
yeah.
That's why it doesn't feel
Yeah.
as strong as the others.
It's
It's a
just-
great film.
it's true,
but-
true. But he's a man at a time, so
Yeah, it's still a man at a time,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then also, I'll give a vote to 12 Monkeys. I think, which I just
Okay.
watched for the very first time this week, and like Brad Pitt. Holy shit! Yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think I'll stick with those.
Okay. So I'll all right, so I think we'll vote on the ones that at least had 3 crossovers. I've got 4 of those. So we'll just and these are not like super long essay explanations. Just give me a quick grade. Where you put it. We'll go up and down the list, but a quick grade. So Safety Not Guaranteed. I heard that one a lot. So Andres,
Yeah.
have you seen it? What do you give it?
Oh yeah, absolutely love Safety Not Guaranteed. This deals with time travel in a completely different way. Time travel is like sort of like the what if by the very end. You almost kind of debate whether or not this guy is actually able to travel through time. And then the ending is just very sweet. And also Aubrey Plaza, she's fantastic in this. So yep, absolutely. I think we have to talk about where we think it should go.
Yeah.
Give me a quick grade. Yeah, quick grade.
Yeah.
A. Low. You know what? No, I'll go S. I'll go S on this. I really did like this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say for the both of us, it's gonna be an A.
Okay.
Okay.
Only because And I'm gonna say it quickly, only because you never really actually see the time travel element to it. It's there-ish, but you never see it. But the story itself is just so cute and like leading up to it. So that's why I'd give it an A. And Robert would give it an A.
You see something happen involving time travel at the very end, but it's not full time travel. Yeah. Yeah. But
Jen?
Yeah, I'd give it a solid A. Like, it's adorable. This is one of those films of anyone who's seen it is a fan, but not enough people have seen it. But so definitely go watch it. It's an A.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah, I give it like a high A. I think it's really solid. Yeah, I saw it once, but I saw it in a theater, and it was with not a lot of people, unfortunately. But yeah, really, but really good. I like the way they talk about it throughout the thing. Just could bring some weapons and all this kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff is fun. All that stuff is fun, and I love Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, high A. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna give it S tier. Like, I'm just a huge fan of this cast too. Like Mark Duplass, Aubrey Plaza, Jake Johnson, even Karen Sony. Just like the little core group that they have, I think is a lot of fun. And so yeah, like, I'm gonna give it S tier. Like, I'll probably be a little lower on the S tier, but
yeah,
I'm gonna give it an S tier. Yeah. So, but based on those votes, definitely makes
two
it
S's and
right?
2 S's and 4 A's. It's around where Star Trek was.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Well,
here's the thing though. Technically, it's higher than Back to the Future 2 and 3 on my list. It's got 2 S tier votes. Those each only had 1.
Yeah, true. Well,
I mean, I'm just going.
We'll argue about this later.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. All right. So, movie 2 of 4 that we're missing. Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. All right, we'll go around the horn. Andres.
Yeah.
My sum
Andres.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's my sum up. It's a high A for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Vanessa
and Robert.
I would say high A too. I just love the little their little wee, and then they go into the thing. It just gets me every time when I watch it. But yeah, I do like the little the elements that they did in the second one, in the Spy Who Shagged Me. Like, I didn't think that, like, it's kind of a cool thing that they did in that movie. So high A for me.
Okay, Robert.
Yeah.
So one of the most fun experiences in the theater that I had was actually The Spy Who Shagged Me. I just remember an amazing time, everybody having a good time. The comedy was on point. They were doing things we've never seen before. And then they just repeat them in Goldmember, which is unfortunate. But when it came to Spy Who Shagged Me, the utilization of the time travel as well, to have Rob Lowe play an amazing spitting image number 2, was so fantastic. So being able to and then Frau still looks exactly the same. I thought that they did like the time travel aspect well, going back to like with Basil exposition and all them, seeing them put Austin encased in ice and all that, and having Fat Bastard go and show up and steal his mojo. I thought it was really well done, and it always has been like one of my favorite Mike Myers movies, under Wayne's World. So, under So I Married an Axe Murderer as well. In fact, I put that above Wayne's World. But when it comes down to Spy Who Shagged Me, it's it's definitely top tier A.
Yeah.
Harriet.
Jen?
Sweet Harriet.
Jen, what do you think?
I enjoy this franchise, and I definitely think that Spy Who Shagged Me is the best of the 3. I don't necessarily think of this when I think of time travel movies, even though it definitely counts. So for me, even though I like it, for this list in particular, I'm going to put it as a B.
Yeah. Austin.
Same. Jen and I are on the same wavelength tonight as opposed to tournament fights the other night. So, B.
Well, for me, I would give this. Oh man, like a borderline between A and S. Honestly, like it's right there hovering for me. But
remember, your vote counts a lot because there were just 2 Bs.
yeah, right. I'm gonna give it an S.
Yes,
just because like the movie
on
going
the time travel list. Okay.
Yeah, similar to what Robert said. Like I had an awesome movie, theater experience with it, and like I just remember so many lines. I remember just seeing it with one of my best friends who actually passed away, and like we were just laughing like crazy. Like it's one of those like few moments where we were just laughing so hard that we couldn't breathe. Mostly because of him, because he laughs at like he would laugh at like everything, and like he would really get me going. So yeah, like yeah, I'm gonna give it a very low S tier. So yeah, just to kind of bring up those B scores a little bit and get it somewhere.
It's a
So,
defensive move, I get it.
yeah.
Well, it has the
defensive
exact same votes as Back to the Future 2, which you're putting on the same level as your favorite movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
fun movie.
That's
put it
gold member,
under
by the way.
that. I mean, I'm okay putting
That's
it
gold
maybe,
member.
I don't know.
That's gold
You put it-
member.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
gold member.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gold
Hang on,
member is
hang on,
no
hang
way
on.
better.
It's got the Midas
No,
touch.
no, it's
too
not.
much.
It's not.
November,
Yeah.
in November.
And
Yeah.
Heather Graham
But we'll put it there.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Roller girl
tagged very well
herself.
by
from
reputation.
Roller Girl to friggin'
Heather Graham.
Oh,
Yeah.
The ones that
Right.
lived through
All right.
the 70s.
All right.
All right, so the
What's the next
two last movies that we had
pretty much
crossover. 12 Monkeys. So another Terry Gilliam movie. So 12 Monkeys, Andres, real quick.
Fuck. Well, how many S's am I allowed to give? Seriously.
As many as you want.
As many as you want. Yeah,
As many as you want. Yep.
You know what? While this one is probably the time travel movie that I don't go back to the most, you can't deny that it is an S tier time travel movie. I feel so. Yeah. For me personally, low S.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vanessa,
Vanessa?
what do you think?
I'm gonna give it a high A, like a really high A. I really do like this movie. For the complete opposite that I said because of Looper. Bruce Willis is great in this movie. And so is Brad Pitt. I think both of them. Yeah, I guess Brad Pitt especially. But I just love like that dystopian like future. Yeah, I guess it's because you got your Terminator dystopian future, and they go back into the future or go back into the past to fix whatever, so that way it doesn't happen in the future. But it's like different, which I like. And then it's so gritty. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Robert, what do you think?
what were we talking about again?
12 Monkeys.
I had it all, like everything I was going to say was laid out, and I was like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to dance with 12 Monkeys, and then I just whooped out the window. Yeah, I mean, 12 Monkeys is gritty, dude. You got Brad Pitt. Woof. That performance that you get from Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
whoop, whoop, a little pepper whoop. That Brad Pitt performance that you get in this one, he's so deranged, he's so crazy good at that point as well. So getting, that's the Terry Gilliam I know, that whole era that he ended up building, this world that he built, his style, his imagery. I didn't do the Time Bandit stuff. This is where I jumped in, was 12 Monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely one of my go-tos when it comes to like viral outbreaks. Like, to me, it's more viral outbreak than it is time travel, even though they utilize the time travel aspect so heavily. But it is one of the more, I think of it when I think of like Contagion and Outbreak and all that. It's 12 Monkeys. So, and then it gets very, elegant in the end. I always forget the actor that's there that plays it. He's the guy with the blonde, long hair with the ponytail, and he's in so much stuff. But in that one,
the doctor.
Yeah, the one, the
or
crazy
the scientist.
Yeah, the one that's going to release it to the world.
Yeah.
And it gets very, elegant, and there's no stopping it. It's going to happen no matter what. But,
Check out our Better Late Than Never that we did for 12
yeah, we
Monkeys.
did a whole 12 Monkeys breakdown. Check it out on our channel. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, nice.
I'd give it
Awesome.
an S for sure. Bottom S.
Mm-hmm. Jen?
So,
what do you think?
no matter how many films you watch, there's always going to be something that you haven't seen. And this is my white whale for whatever reason. I have it. It's right over there. I still haven't watched it yet. I know I should have, especially because like I gushed over Time Bandits earlier. Clearly, I like Terry Gilliam, and yeah, it's clearly up my alley. But I know how it ends because I've seen the French short film that it's based on, and I know what happens. So I have never sat down and watched it. I still need to do it. I've been saying this for years now. This is my white whale. So I'm gonna watch it eventually. But this is like, what am I gonna do with my life after I watch this movie? I don't know. So yeah.
David Morse was the actor. Thank you, Movie Man 82 US.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
David
yeah.
Morse.
Mhm.
Stephen Shepard in the chat. Yeah. Austin, what do you think?
I go lowest for 12 Monkeys. Yeah, it's not one of the highest time travel movies ever, but I put it right up around Looper, like another Bruce Willis movie. He makes good time travel movies. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And gosh, I forgot about 12 Monkeys. Like I put The Spy Who Shagged Me as an S tier, but I would bump The Spy Who Shagged Me in place of the of 12 Monkeys probably. And I actually just watched this for the first time today, and I'm pretty sure that it's my new favorite Brad Pitt performance of all time, probably. Like he gave a powerhouse performance, like just like, you know, like all the craziness, like him in the insane asylum, just going nuts and tearing the place apart. Like it's so much fun. Also the score too, like I never heard of that composer Paul Buckmaster. I looked it up, but like I don't never heard of him before, but like he did a pretty solid score for it. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a low S.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
four
where we
S's and an A. 4 S's and
All
an
right.
A. So yeah, it's up there.
it's
Mhm.
in the S tier.
And I think our
Sure.
very last one will rank for the evening before we kind of play around with the individual rankings. Is I heard enough mention of X-Men Days of Future Past, so we'll quickly maybe vote on that one. So
Yeah.
Grace. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Days of Future Past for me, like I absolutely agree with Jen. Does time travel better in a Marvel film than Endgame does? I mean, not because of the fact that it's like, for me, it's like, okay, it does the Terminator aspects a little better. Plus, also you have all this stuff intercutting in the third act, and just the stakes are so raised so high. It's one of my all-time favorite X-Men movies, and I still think First Class is better as well. But
Mm-hmm.
but the time travel in this one is just fantastic, and just there's no way you can't help but just like feel that when everything is fixed at the end, that you feel like it's a gigantic win. So I'm gonna say, having said all that, it is a high B for me. It's higher than where Endgame is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's Endgame right now? This is important.
Yeah.
It's in the
Game.
top of B right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's in the top of B, but
Mhm.
Vanessa, would you rank it?
I would rank it a low A. I do like the time travel elements in this one, and I feel like it flows with the story a little bit more in this movie. I also like the road cut more than this one, or than the theatrical version.
Oh yeah. Road cut.
But I also love the elements that, like, you know, you brought the younger versions of these characters together, and then you brought, like, you still had like the original characters that we've known since X-Men, which is great because I love that they had them together, and then the person that tied it all together was Wolverine. So it was perfect. I will agree that I do like First Class way more than this one. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I hated
Robert.
that they brought back Bryan Singer. I didn't like that John Ottman was doing the music. For me, like when they got away from Matthew Vaughn and Henry Jackman, like I was like, okay, well now we're back to what we were doing already, and I don't like it. But I watched Days of Future Past. I was like, this is fine. I feel like there's stuff missing. We watched it one time. I had no desire to watch it again, and I just never did until the road cut. And when I watched the road cut, I was like, holy shit. Like, there's all this stuff that's missing. The interlacing aspect of them going to Cerebro with what's going on in the past and what's going on in the future, intercutting between the two time periods. It's incredible. Like, I love it. But yeah, it was. It's definitely something that I wish they would have kept theatrically. But when they didn't, and they cut it, I felt like there was something missing in the theatrical version. But yeah, the road cut fixed it for me. So therefore, I ended up putting it a little bit higher than when I first initially saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I have to say about that.
All right, Forrest.
Would you rank it?
Is this road cut? Is this road
Sure.
cut?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
then yeah.
Let's say
Whatever
that,
cut
yeah.
you want.
I put it in A.
Whatever cut you want. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
some people are like, no, it's gotta be theatrical. The road cut.
Yeah. Right. Gotta be decent. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you just
Yeah,
do that voice again?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It kind of hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the coughing
Yeah.
fit and being sick for
Yeah.
a couple days.
Oh man.
Jen. what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree that this belongs on the list more than Endgame does. Like, whereas Endgame, it felt like they boxed themselves into a corner of this is the only way that we can move forward. Days of Future Past was a really creative way of like bridging the gap between the old school and the new school and having them all interact with each other in interesting ways. Granted, that's how it was written as a comic, but doesn't make it any less impressive that they pulled it off on screen too. So yeah, I definitely enjoy this movie very much because I am obsessed with the Bond era of Fassbender and McAvoy. Are just love them. So yeah, for me, I think it's a solid A.
Yeah. For me, like I would initially. Oh wait, sorry. We gotta go to Austin.
okay.
Sorry. I'm skipping you. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead, Austin.
Mid A. First class is S tier for me. So like, Future Pass is good, but it's like a notch under First Class.
I love that we all like
just
First
the
Class.
best.
That's great.
First Class is awesome. First Class is so good. It feels different.
best.
It feels different. It's great.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken when they dropped Oliver Platt.
Well,
That was so freaking dark.
Well,
That was
I will say the one knock for Days of Future Past, apart from Bryan Singer as well, where Matthew Vaughn's like, we got color, we got the colorful costumes again, and then all of a sudden Bryan Singer's like, make them all gray and make them all armor, and they're like, that's so boring. And then also on top of that, the scene where they're going through the dossier and you found out literally everyone that you love from the last one is dead. I'm sorry. I need to get that out. There you go. Sorry.
Why?
Yeah, well, for me, like I'm not a huge X-Men First Class fan. Like I think it's fine. I don't think that it's bad, but I think it's fine for me. But I mean, for Days of the Future Past, I would initially given it about a B ranking, but then we brought up the road cut, and the road cut's freaking awesome. Like I love the road cut. It does so much to like bring things back together and like I'm a huge Anna Paquin fan, so more of her. Like I'm happy to see her more and so probably I'll give it an A, but like probably like a low A. Like it's probably gonna make the honorable mentions from me, but we'll also put it up in A. So
All right.
So where are we at?
5 A's and a B. So it's just kind of low mid A, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely goes in the A, so it can be in the conversation. So yeah, so that's all the ranking that all the voting we're gonna do. So now we just have to figure out how we want to rank our top 10 and which 3 we want to have in our honorable mentions too. So
We already have
10.
So
Oh
there's
my
10
God.
movies there. Do we move anything around? We'll see. And I've got the votes here if we need to move anything, so we'll play around with this a little bit. Although I will say, I'm pretty sure looking through my chart here that I don't think anything from the A tier is going to get bumped up because none of them have more than 2 S votes, and usually we need about 3 S votes at least for it to kind of squeak into the S tier. So, I mean, you know,
I gotta say, I am happy with the list as is right now.
Yeah, kinda.
I'm happy with the list too.
Seal the deal.
I'm good.
For me,
it's just so funny that Arnold snuck in there twice while the other 2 Back to the Futures went down.
Look, I could be happy with it. I mean, like I would personally maybe move Groundhog Day down a little bit, but that's just me. But I'm fine with it. That's just a nitpick. So I mean, I could be totally happy with it. So yeah. But what do we want for the 3 honorable mentions, though? Do you want those 3 there? Like, is that a solid 3, or do we want to change anything?
I mean,
I think that's a solid 3.
Solid 3 right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
It works for me.
Look at that. It all
Back
Just
to
make
the
it simple.
Future, Back to the Future.
Why not?
Yeah. Easy. So we're gonna have the debate in the poll tomorrow to see which Back to the Future people will rank higher. So they'll all three be there.
Yeah, that's
So,
a great point.
yeah. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for joining us. Austin, as the co-host, though, real quick before we outro everyone, you want to break down our top 10 and our 3 honorable mentions?
Yeah, so just to recap here, at number 1, I think with a bullet, it's Robert Zemeckis' classic Back to the Future. Number 2, we got James Cameron's great sequel, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Number 3, we got Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. Number 4, we've got the great buddy 80s throwback, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Yes. And number 5, we've got James Cameron's first outing with the original Terminator. At number 6, we've got Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits. At number 7, we got a fun pick from Germany, Run, Lola Run. Number 8, we've got the romantic new classic About Time. Number 9, we got Ryan Johnson's Looper. Number 10, we got Terry Gilliam again with Bruce Willis and 12 Monkeys. Number 11, the honorable mentions. Our number 11 will be the fun indie fix, Safety Not Guaranteed. And rounding out our honorable mentions, the sequels, of course, Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Not well done, guys.
Good job.
Yeah. So well done. So yeah, that'll just about do it for us tonight. Well, we'll just go around the horn. If you guys have anything you want to promote or you want to let us know where we can find you, we'll just go around. So we'll start with Andres. Where can we find you?
Ghost.
All right.
Yeah, the Ghost.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Galaghost. You can also find me on twitch.tv as Galaghost209. You can also find me on the High Voltage Media channel, which we're doing retrospective reviews. We are currently in the middle of editing our Any Given Sunday review, but we just put out our Priority 2 review, which I'm very, very proud of. We got tons of stuff coming down the pipeline. It's going to be great. You can also catch me on the Schmodown's Twitch. Just haven't done my last FCL match. I think it's probably one of my best ones. So, yep, go ahead and check it out and see if you agree with me on the whole Zombieland 2 thing. There you go.
All right. Awesome. And then Vanessa and Robert, let you guys go together. You got anything you want to promote? Where can we find you?
We just went to Disneyland and California Adventures, probably why I'm sick. But we shot vlogs at both parks, and we did reactions on the rides. So you can actually see our reactions to like Rise of the Resistance, doing the picture-in-picture thing. So check those out. Those are on our channel.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You could like us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Discord. All the social media joins, you know where they are.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Jen, where can we find you?
You can find me, Jen Kemp, at JK Meme Queen on Twitter and Letterboxd, even though I never update anymore because I'm lazy. And if you have 4.5 hours to kill, I was with these two guys over here earlier this week for tournament fights, talking about TV shows and me yelling at Austin to watch Camp Cretaceous because it's not for kids.
That's right.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for the list, guys. Like, I'm genuinely excited to go through all these movies, and I don't know, should we do all of them on the channel? Is Run Lola Run a good one for the channel?
We'll see. You'll get a little cred with that one, I think.
I know, right?
Yeah.
A little indie movie.
It's probably one that not a lot of people have done reactions to, so you might be the first one in that.
True.
So
get that algorithm
you
going.
could be the first.
Yeah,
right.
You're gonna be the pioneers of everything. Yeah.
Try to be first to the party.
Yeah, right. But Austin, do you have anything that you want to promote?
Well, on a little more somber note, Jordan and I are going to do. We called an audible. We're going to do an episode of our Live from Movie Hero show, which it's our SNL show. We're going to do a tribute to Norm Macdonald this weekend. Unfortunately, on more somber note, losing one of the greats, Norm Macdonald. So we kind of called an audible of what we were going to do for our episode. We're still going to review an episode like we do. We're just going to review the episode he hosted in 1999. In October of 99, we're going to review that and then kind of just talk and gush about some of our favorite Norm, jokes or talk show appearances or sketches, what have you. Just be a big Norm fest. So, we're going to talk about him and portray our love for one of the great comedians ever. So, one of the big legends. Yeah. So, I'll just put we'll probably try to do that. We're gonna probably try to do that on Sunday if we can. So we're gonna try.
Yep. So and then just a couple of things we have coming up on our channel. So on this next Tuesday, we're going to switch up a little bit. We're going to cover some music. So we're going to be doing an episode of our spin-off show, Movie Fights Battles, where we take 4 people and we each submit 16 items into the tournament of 64. So we're going to do our favorite musicians of all time. So it covers bands, singers, rappers, just like composers, and just all of that fun stuff. So that should be a fun time. And then we also have one of the other out of left field ones. So like next week we're kind of getting away from the normal TV and movies. We're going to do best chain restaurants of all time, just to kind of mix it up. So like any chain restaurant you can think of, we're going to put it through the tournament 64, just to do something kind of just mix it up a little bit. So we're doing that. And then we're going to get back into some
Somebody
horror,
was hungry
though.
when they're making the schedule. That's all that means.
Exactly. But then we're going to get back into some horror. So we've been doing a series of horror covering every decade of horror. We're finally to our last and final decade. We're going to be doing best 70s horror movies. And actually, Andres Gallegos is going to join us for that episode. We got a pretty stacked cast. We're going to be having Mark Edward Hoyk, Adam Collins, and William Bibiani all joining us for that episode. So that'll be a pretty huge episode. And then just one more that I'll throw in there. We're also going to be doing the Friday after that best horror sequels of all time. So you get into like some of those like crazy like Nightmare on Elm Street sequels, the Friday the 13th sequels that not as many people have seen, but they're still fun to talk about and they deserve to be talked about. So
and that's going to be a tournament fight. That's one I've been wanting to do, because it's like, but we need people on our panel who know the difference between like Halloween 4 and like Nightmare 5. To put them on this tournament that like can tell the difference, and not just like Jordan will probably be the one person on that panel who's like, I don't know what the difference is between these two. I'll just vote for this one. So
I haven't seen as many.
Those kind of a lot of fun
sequels, but but it'll be a good time though. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being on.
Always wanted to do this one for a while. Thanks for having me on board.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had no clue you guys were going to be here too when we signed on. They're like, "Oh, and Jen and Andres are there." I'm like, "What? Okay."
Hey, we've had a ton of Schmodown people on here, man. Like we've had lots of people on here. We're a small channel, but we've had a ton of Schmodown personalities throughout the years. So we're trying to build our channel.
Good at the connection thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of them. A lot of Schmodown personalities. So like the well is endless.
Yeah.
So
right.
We can get.
For sure, and they all love talking about movies, so that's the fun part. So
we do,
but we
don't shut up.
And and you don't have to answer trivia questions. You can just gush about movies, so it's low pressure.
We throw our own trivia, and you don't have to ask us a question to make us talk like that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But that'll do it tonight for Tier Ranker Fights. So for Andres, for Vanessa, for Robert, for Jen, for Austin, I've been Jordan, Movie Hero Anderson, and we will see you next time.